Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for tuning in for yet another week of RWBY Volume 7 discussions. Is this music from something? It's just a YouTube music artist group that I enjoy listening to, and they're super cool with letting people use their music like for their videos or their streams and stuff like that. They're called Hyper Potions. They have their own YouTube channel. They're on Spotify and iTunes and stuff like that. The link in the description for the song you just heard now if you guys enjoy it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. The continued support. Another week of RWBY discussions. Of course, there will not be a new chapter tomorrow due to the holiday break for Rooster Teeth and company. Obviously, you know, the community in general and things of that nature. But we still have Chapter 8 to talk about. My reaction to Chapter 8 will still be going live tomorrow. It'll also be going live for non-first members as per usual. But next week is when things are going to reset. Next week, there won't be anything uploaded on the weekend for the channel. However, Chapter 9 will be rebooting back up for first members, and then the following week for non-first members, and then the volume will continue where it will end on February 1st for first members, and I believe February 8th for the general public. Yeah, thank you guys so much. So for those of you who haven't heard, or if you guys are tuning in for, to the channel for the first time in the last week, the channel reached 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I already posted a video on the channel kind of commemorating the moment, thanking everybody for their continued support of this major milestone on my channel. I started my channel 6.5 years ago. 6.5 years ago, I created my channel and started uploading really awful Call of Duty gameplay commentary videos. Back when I was inspired by YouTubers like Girl Gone Gamer for her Call of Duty commentary videos, and Like Butter for his Gears of War commentary videos. And I slowly evolved from that, doing anime and manga reactions for shows like Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Sword Art Online, Log Horizon, Kuroko's Basketball, and a plethora of other things. Obviously, RWBY Volume 1, Volume 2. The majority of my community discovered me with RWBY Volume 3. And, the rest is history at that point. Majority of people who are subscribed to the channel now kind of know me from the Rooster Teeth community, right? RWBY, RWBY Chibi, Red vs. Blue, Genlock. And I've kind of made a name for myself in the community, through the content that I've done, my reactions, my reviews, my live stream discussions, hello, and everything else in between. And I can't believe we reached 100,000 subscribers. Log Horizon, is it still on the channel? Well, here's the thing. I wasn't doing reactions back then. It was simply reviews, and they weren't as good as the reviews that I can put out nowadays. So, yes, every single video I've ever uploaded to my channel is still on my channel. You basically just have to do homework in finding it. Most of the videos that I've done are playlisted. I reviewed the entirety of Season 1 of Log Horizon and half of Season 2, because then I kind of fell off from anime content creation and stuff like that. But overall, yeah, 100,000 subscribers, 6.5 years of work, over 1,100 videos uploaded to the channel, 31 million channel views, collectively across everything. And it just means a lot to me to know that I've had support from 100,000 people over that time, whether it's people who discovered me for a particular series and then have moved on, or if people have been along for the ride the entire 6.5 years, or people who discovered me in the Rooster Teeth community. It's such a phenomenal feeling of validation, especially for me, because I never thought I'd be able to reach 100,000, you know what I mean? And I'm just happy about it. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm proud of the community that I've cultivated and fostered over the last couple of years, especially for RWBY and Red vs. Blue. And 2020 is going to be the beginning of transitioning from that. I'm still going to be making RWBY videos. I'm still going to be making RVB videos, but as this is a big milestone for me, especially for the specific content that I make, I'm definitely going to want to branch out and do other things. I don't want to become like only known for one thing or only focus on one thing, especially because RWBY and RWBY will eventually end, and there's always things that I want to pivot and do, you know, besides those things. So to all of you guys who are here now, for majority of you who I'm pretty sure are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in and week out for these live stream discussions. Thank you guys for, you know, giving me a lot of encouragement, you know, support, and just being super positive and, you know, being along for the journey. It makes things a whole lot better to know that there are people out there who enjoy my input and my take on things and want to be along for the ride of whatever it is that I'm putting out on the channel. So appreciate it very, very much. Let's see. Shane, thank you as well for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Hey Arnold, it's me back at it again. Personally, I can't wait to see Jerk Schnee finally get exposed for the sociopath he is. Penny, for your thoughts on the matter. Thank you so much. Always got to sneak a pun in there, of course. Thank you so much for the donation, Shane. Glad to have you in the chat as well. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things we're going to get into for Jacques Schnee in particular. And just the episode as a whole, because it wasn't like crazy over the top, but it definitely was a lot of great character moments. Obviously, Mama Schnee debuted. We found out the information on Klein, which is a little heart-wrenching and a little upsetting, because I was really looking forward to seeing him. Obviously, political and diplomatic events are taking place with Jacques, Robin, and Ironwood. And, you know, things are also ramping up with Watts, you know, based on how the episode wrapped up and finished off. And we still have, what, episodes 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 5 chapters left, so we have a little over a month of content left before the volume is left off for the year until volume 8 later, and, you know, until things recalibrate for volumes 8, which will most likely wrap up the Atlas arc. But yeah, also really quick, if you guys are new here, if this is your first time in the live stream, I typically do these live stream events every Friday evening around this time frame for RWBY. For this year, it's going to be for volume 7. On Friday evenings, we kind of break down and discuss and talk about the episode at length, breaking it down scene by scene, moment by moment, and always having something to talk about. I try to engage with the chat when I'm not off on my ramble moments of talking about a particular thing. So if this is your first time in here, I hope you enjoy. Obviously, this is going to be very heavily spoiler-based, so if you have not seen the chapter and you don't want to get spoiled, probably not the best place to gather. Are there any memes for this? Oh my gosh, you just reminded me. So Ross did in fact have a meme. He actually sent it. I keep forgetting now. Like, now I'm actually losing my like, not losing my mind, but like I'm losing my it's at the end of the episode. Just remind, it's when we get to Watts. Oh, actually no, there's one even before that, when we first see Whitley at the door. So yeah, so I'll actually just leave this tab up right now just so that way we know, or I can remember when we see it. But yeah, you know, your boy Ross at it again as always. Let's see. Yeah, so there will not be a stream next week. And that's ultimately due to the fact that there's no chapter this weekend for it to be a live stream next weekend. So it'll basically just be a 1-week delay of content until the volume kicks back up. But I'll let you guys know on Twitter. I'll let you guys know on the community tab and things like that. Shadow Wolf, thank you for the congrats. As well as June, I appreciate the super chats, guys. Congrats on 100K. You deserve it so much. Here's to the future. Thank you guys so much. Crunchy Chris and Bellatrix Umbra, thank you guys as well for the super chats. Glad to have you guys here. How's everyone's week been? Merry Christmas, by the way. Happy holidays. I had a kind of mellow Christmas. I basically had friends over last week because my family's kind of scattered this year. My brother's out visiting his girlfriend in another city. My mother's busy with work, so she's working. She worked Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. She's working New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So I'm basically just going to be spending my weekend with a few friends of mine. Kaylin and I have also been spending some time together via Discord. We're watching the Witcher series right now on Netflix, which is really fun. I know little bits and pieces of the game. I never played the game, but apparently the Netflix series takes place before the game, which the game is also based on the books, which I've never read the books either. But yeah, hopefully your holidays have been festive for those of you who celebrate Christmas, or I don't know what holidays you get gifts. I don't know if you get gifts on like Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or any other festive holidays around this time of year, but hopefully you guys got some fun, exciting gifts, things that you guys were looking forward to getting, hoping you'd get, working towards getting, and everything else in between. Let's see. Where did I get my username from? So I am going to officially be making that video in 2020. The MurderofBirds origin story, because the information is out there. I have talked about it from time to time in the past, but there is a lineage to it. There's a reason why my name is called MurderofBirds. It's not just based on the references, right? And it also ties into like online aliases and how I started my online alias and what the first online alias I ever had was. So yeah, there will be a lot of definitive, like, channel-oriented content next year. I'm going to be unboxing my silver play button when that comes in. I have a 100,000 subscriber special video that I have in store for those of you who are looking forward to it. The origins of my gamer tag is the origins of my username, MurderofBirds, that will officially be unveiled for everyone to know, so I can stop getting that question asked for the last 6.5 years. But Mary Chrysler, yep, you already know. No, I know you already said it, Michael, but it's just, I don't know, it's so much more than just simply saying, hey, it's these two references put together. There's more to that than there's more to it than that. So I'm ultimately, I already plan on doing something like that officially. Because for every person that I answer that question, there's like 20 other people asking it still. So, you know, that's basically it. But as always, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate the fact that all of you guys are still willing to kind of catch the stream and hear what I have to say, especially during the festive holiday moments. We got a lot of mods in the chat, so thank God for that. Dylan, William, Kaylin, how's it going, Cal? Are you on break right now? Okay, yeah, you are. Okay, it says I'm on break, but I gotta go back to work. All right, that's fine. I'll talk to you when you get out. Ian, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, Arnold. Congrats on hitting 100,000 subs. You deserve it, buddy. Man, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you too, Ian. Thank you for the $20 donation. I appreciate that very much. Versed, congrats on 100K. Also, I dreamt of Watts wearing a skirt. It's like you cross-referenced Watts with that story about Crow wearing a skirt. The poll. Okay, so do you guys want to talk about... So you guys want to jump into the chapter and start talking a bit about it? Or do you want to find out about the poll? The waffles versus pancake poll that we did last week. There are results. There are some things that we need to get through. So here's the thing. Okay? Here's the thing. I need your help. I did not come up with a poll for this week. All right, we're mixed on it. So I'll start the chapter halfway through. Yeah, we'll get to the poll towards the end, I promise. But I need help on what a poll should be for this week, because we've done peppermint, we've done tomatoes, we've done pancakes versus waffles, we've done pulp or no pulp, but I couldn't think of anything past that. I was also thinking, like, toilet paper, like, over or under. Like, what kind of person are you? Do you put the toilet paper where it rolls over, or do you put the toilet paper where it rolls under? That was the one that I thought of, but I didn't know if that was, like, engaging, like, if that was, like, something that people actively, like, debate back and forth on. But yeah. Crunchy or smooth peanut butter? I was talking to a few friends of mine about that one in particular, actually. Huh. Pineapple on pizza? Cake or pie? That's actually really... Cake or pie is another good one. Boxes or brief? Well, that's exclusive, I think, I think that's very exclusive to like to men only, for the most part. Cake versus pie. Is a hot dog a sandwich? All right. Milkshakes or smoothies? I don't know. Does mayonnaise belong on a hamburger? These are all very specific. Chocolate or vanilla? These aren't as divisive as like pulp or no pulp, or you know what I mean? Like I feel like we're like scrounging the bottom of the barrel at this point. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Tea versus coffee. Yeah, I might do the cake versus pie. Not entirely sure just yet, but that's the one that I'm leaning more towards. Tea or coffee? That is RWBY based though. Weiss likes coffee, Blake likes tea. Yeah. All right, well, it's between the two. Check your DMs. All right, Ross. Are hot dogs sandwiches? Oh, boy. We're going to get into some fierce territory. Is a sub a sandwich? I think that might be it. Or, actually, this is the one that I'll be like, which one's a sandwich? A sub or a hot dog? Because then you're kind of like deadlocked into choosing one of them. Yeah, I think I'll do that. It'll be like the lesser of two evils. Is it in the name? What's a sub anyway? Like what's it like? It's a sub. Like is that short for something? Like I know submarine, but like in terms of, is it like a submarine sandwich? No, I know that. I'm saying the sandwich itself. Is it called a submarine sandwich or is it just called a sub? Because if the sandwich isn't there, but like a sandwich is two individual pieces of bread. Because why is a sub a sandwich? Why is a sandwich, but a sub also a sandwich when the sub is one entire piece of bread? I should like teach like a lecture class at this point, like for this exact topic. Anyways, I might do that. We'll get back to you on that. But with all that said, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I appreciate y'all's support. With all that said, of course, slow chat will be enabled as per usual in 3, 2, 1, now. All right. You guys know the deal. One comment every 45 seconds to prevent maximum spammage. Let's see. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me just... All right, sorry about that. I got a DM that was relatively important, so I just had to get to that before we jump into the discussion. We have 400 people in here as well, so I greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things you guys might also learn and know about if you guys didn't know before. We have a lot of screen caps, not that many clips. Of course, there was more this was a very dialogue, character interaction oriented chapter. So yeah. I could eat a sub the size of Cobalt. Oh boy. Phoenix Wright for Smash. Is a burger a sandwich? Come on. Hashtag pie for the win. All right, guys. With all that said, let us begin. So I will be disappearing off screen from time to time because, as you guys know, there's a lot of screens that I'm going to be talking about in general for the discussion. So if I'm not on screen, don't worry. You guys will be able to hear my lovely, beautiful voice. So the chapter opens up, and so first off, that Atlas ball, am I right? Yeah, I think some people were a little in over their heads on this whole Atlas Ball thing. I don't really know where that rumor or that expectation came from, where people were, I think since like the end of Volume 6, have been talking about this so-called Atlas Ball. Don't know where it came from. I literally don't know where it came from. Like, people just thought we were going to have a dance similar to what happened in Beacon for, you know, the Volume 2 dance. And it just so happens that it's just a formal kind of hoity-toity PR banquet to kind of smooth over like public relations for Jacques becoming the counselor, and obviously putting a little bit of the pressure on Ironwood based on everything that's happened for Mantle, and, you know, everything that's going on with him obviously siding with Watts and being in the know of all the bad things that are happening, and just being a really shitty person for the sake of wanting to win more than anything. Like, I don't even know what he wants to win. He just wants power. He wants that level of control, and he already has it with his family. He already has it with his company, but he doesn't have it over Ironwood, so he's trying to do the best he can to take the last bit of control away from somebody so he can, at this point, rule Atlas, I assume. Yeah, I didn't expect as much from but we got with those scenes. The expectation came from shipping. I think it originated from Erin. I think she posted like a kind of like a tweet with like dancing emojis, and people like ran with that. They were like, oh, Erin says dancing emojis, that means we're getting a dance. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if anyone affiliated with RWBY says something, people immediately translate it to the show. Or to their specific characters, and it kind of gets blown out of proportion. Yeah. Also, I don't know who the hell wrote up this invitation, but they have probably the worst handwriting in the show. For the most part, or for the longest time, I think RWBY was the one who held that privilege. You know what I mean? Like the letter she wrote to Tai Yang as she left for Volume 3. But at the very least, the only legible thing that you could read in that note that she left was RWBY, or Dad, like Dad and RWBY with like a little heart. So this one, you can't read anything. It's the print of like, you are invited, Schnee Manor Banquet Hall. That's in print. And then the actual handwritten part is just god awful. So Donut Valkyrie, congrats on 100K. You really deserve it. So cheers in 2020. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us. Thank you so much, Ross. Let us begin the discussion. Okay. All right, buddy. You can relax. Yeah, Aaron Zek. Yeah, that's the Aaron I was referring to. Yeah, I can't read it either. But obviously everyone was invited. Ironwood, the Aesops, Team RWBY, and Team Juniper. I guess it's just Ironwood and his affiliates, but apparently everyone here is an eyewitness to what's going on in case like Jacques tries to pull anything. But yeah, everyone's kind of realizing the fact of like, hey, this probably isn't the best idea. Ironwood and Jacques are kind of at odds with each other, and Ironwood's going to be calling the shots. I'm sorry, Jacques' going to be calling the shots. Jacques' going to be controlling the conversation, and he does it flawlessly. Like, everything he's doing is calculated. It's backed by what Watts is doing. It's backed by what Tyrion is doing. It's backed by the fact that, with the exception of Ironwood, council people can't think for themselves. They need someone of influence to think for them. This entire time, Ironwood's been getting what he wants because the council's too scared, and they'll agree with whatever Ironwood wants. Now the script is flipped now, because now Jacques the one with all of the influence and control and power, and they're willingly agreeing with whatever he wants. So you know, things are falling in line. One thing that I will say, I am so proud of the fact that Weiss has been asking questions this entire volume so far on like she's the only one who seems to be actively putting pieces together, right? She asked Pietro, you know, the heating grid runs in partnership with the Schnee Dust Company. How would someone gain access to the network? You know what I mean? She's the only one that, at least that I'm seeing, that's actually putting two and two together. And I really am like super proud of the fact that she, with the help of her mother, of course, like pinpointed like the source of origin. Like now she has the information on Watts, And obviously it's a little different than what I thought, because I thought Whitley was going to be a big part of that, because Whitley, with the exception of Jacques, was the only one to see Arthur Watts in the flesh when he came around. But, you know, Mama Schnee came through looking out for her family, of course. But yeah, I'm just really happy that Weiss has been able to put so much together. She even questioned, like, why would my father make this play, like, make this move the day before the election if he thought it wasn't going to work out for him? And yeah, again, best girl for obvious reasons. And Yang immediately jumps to the point of mentioning, you know, do you think your father has anything to do with Salem? And she's technically, I mean, that's a leap to jump to be quite honest. But the fact is, like, Jacques doesn't even know about Salem. Jacques knows about Arthur, and by proxy, Arthur is affiliated with Salem. So she's technically not wrong, but you know what I mean. You know, like, Watts is basically pawning and using Jacques to get what he wants for Salem. And her affiliates are obviously in cahoots. They know that Tyrion's around. Nobody knows about Watts just yet. And as of right now, it seems like the villains might be getting some pushback once people find out what's going on. Once people realize this is a guy that's supposed to be dead, now we can start putting two and two together. He must be working with Salem alongside Tyrion, and that's why he has all of this technological information, and he's hacking all of this stuff. And he just knows what he's doing because he knows the lay of the land, because he's an Atlesian himself. So, and everyone's just basically asking questions and trying to figure things out. So this was, again, it kind of sets up for what we can expect moving forward with everybody, because now by the end of the chapter, here's the thing. Watts has been so calculated, so meticulous, that I feel like his identity being a secret is like, I feel like it won't necessarily affect him at all. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly feel like, because you would think like, oh my gosh, if his identity is blown, all bets are off. Like, everyone's going to know him. Everyone's going to identify and find out who he is. But I feel like he's been doing so well that even if his identity is revealed, it's like, well, you still have to stop him. And he's still one person in a city of hundreds, if not thousands, combined with Atlas, and you never know where he's at. Is he in Mantle one day? Is he in Atlas the next day? He still has, like, access to all of the technology. We don't know if he has a semblance, or if he can fight, or if he has, like, machines of his own on standby for whatever the hell he's planning. So I really do think, like, he's done so much collateral damage that even if he's discovered, it's the same thing with Tyrion. Like, they know Tyrion. They know Tyrion's there. They know his motives. They know what he's after. They know who he's with, like, who he's siding with. But it's like, that doesn't change anything. They still can't, like, apprehend and stop him. So, yeah, I do still think that Watts has a lot more up his sleeves besides his identity. So, let's read some of the chat really quick. Can anyone who is better than Art draw me Weiss as Sherlock Holmes? Another case closed, my dear Watson. Like, literally, like Arthur Watts, she just found him out. Someone needs to do that. Someone definitely, I want that now. Like, I want, like, a Weiss and a Watts. Like, her being, like, Sherlock and him being Watson. That'd be so great. All right, so moving on from there, we have the foregrounds of the Schnee Manor. And I didn't compare this, but I put two and two together because we've seen, like, I don't know if this is considered, like, the gardens or the backyard or whatever the case might be, like, just, it looks like it's in the far back side of the Schnee Manor. And this is obviously, again, from the RWBY Volume 5 Weiss character short, when she was training with Winter in the past. That was basically the prequel to the actual show before she left for Beacon. So this is the background, and this is the backyard, and this is the foreground, like the front of the place. And I don't know, like, this is a fucking massive ass estate. Like, we already know the fact that her house was pretty big. The manor was pretty big from Volume 4 when she was, like, it seemed like she was walking from one end of the house to the other end of the house to get from her room to her father's office, and it took like quite a walk. So the fact that we can actually see the complex on the top and in the background and see like how far it expands is pretty insane. For the fact that it's just a 4 or 5 fam, like, so Jacques, Mama Schnee, Whitley, Winter, what, like a family of 5. And then they have all of these, you know what I mean? Like, he's super extra with I don't know, just being lavish and being extravagant and over the top with his money and with his house and everything else like that, even if he is like filthy stinking rich. Yep, the way of the rich people. Absolutely. Why are we calling her Mama? I mean, I've been calling her Mama Schnee because, I mean, it doesn't change the fact that that's what she is. She's Mama Schnee. People are calling her Willow, but I mean, I've called her Mama Schnee for so long that now that we know her name, it's like, well, now it's hard for me to call her Willow because I've been calling her this thing for so long. Chelsea, hey, how's it going? Heading to Vegas, but just wanted to make sure I stopped by. Much love, Arnold. Thank you so much. Have a safe trip back to Vegas. Appreciate the support. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Yeah, Mama Schnee sounds better than Willow Schnee on top of that. Like, I don't know. I prefer Mama Schnee. It's the same thing anyway. You know who I'm talking about either way. It feels like he's compensating for something. Okay, the guy has 3 kids. Relax. All right. So everyone kind of shows up. Super fancy. You got Team RWBY, Team Juniper, like I said, the Aesops in their limousines of luxury. And I don't know if anyone knows this in particular or specifically, but I was obviously like looking up a bunch of things and putting things together for like references, Easter eggs, and I'm just like, what is this license plate? Like, does this mean anything? Because in RWBY, I honestly feel like everything means something. It's a reference to something, an Easter egg to something, or it's just like a random thing for the license plate. I wanted to say it looks like laser, like the L, the A, the 5 can be an S, and then ER. Like, I honestly was thinking laser, like laser team, but I don't know. I wish someone could confirm it to me. You know? And, yeah, I don't know. This has been driving me crazy. I've been looking like on Reddit and Twitter to see if anyone else was talking about it, but it's like, and on top of that, it doesn't even seem like it's legible, like actual, I don't know. It's odd. It's odd. Yeah, it's been driving me crazy as well. Almost looks like it says London. I don't know, but I would like to tweet this out to somebody and being like, hey, Eddie, I know you're like super engaging with the community on Twitter right now. Can you please help a brother out? Because I'm literally losing my goddamn mind over this. Oh, it's been driving you crazy because it's a car. All right. Let's put the puns aside, all right? We're in the super serious mode, all right? I'm trying to figure stuff out for this discussion. I'm trying to pave the way and make some groundbreaking discoveries today in stream. And as of right now, I'm failing because I don't know what this reference is. But also, this is definitive. Gravity dust is best dust. Like, period. Like, period. The gravity dust is the most that we've seen in this show that has added so much world building aspects to almost everything, more so than any other level of dust. It freaking causes these are hover limos, like gravity limos, right? And I've also talked about gravity dust at length when, you know, during chapter 1 when we saw the gravity cuffs, and then I just kind of went down the list of all the stuff that gravity dust has been applied to in the show. You know, even Jean has gravity imbued in his shield, right? Gravity dust is so sick. It could be, it's used, we've seen it used for like transport, like now we see it for limos. It's also a big part of the Mistral train station, like the track line. It's used for weapons like Maria's weapons and Jean's shield. It's used for like other things like the gravity cuffs. And just in general, like Lake Matsu, for example, has gravity dust imbued with it. And I don't know, I'm a sucker for gravity dust. I love how much they're pushing this for different ways of using it in the world. But they see me floating, they hate it. All right, riding dirty over here. Yeah, we see it for car mechanics. I mean, we also saw it for like locomotives, but that was that was also in volume 6. But the fact that gravity dust is still improving and they're still showing us a bunch of new cool things of how it's utilized is definitely fan service for me, because I've been talking like nonstop. I've been praising gravity dust ever since chapter 1, and they're still like not letting up with it. So really happy about that. So this next part is going to be a throwback reference. Let's see. Type 1 in the chat if you've been watching RWBY since volume 1 aired. Basically since 2013. Like, type 1 in the chat if you've been watching RWBY since it started. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who've been watching, and, you know, no, I'm not trying to discredit anyone who came in after the fact. This is just the fact of, like, I'm just asking because this is a reference that most people would know if they've been around since volume 1, because this is where the reference was inspired, or where the reference was born, essentially. So there is a little figure, like statuette, like figurehead on the end of this limo that is of a raptor. Now, a lot of people that I've seen like on Twitter have been like, wait, do dinosaurs exist in RWBY? Like, is there a company that like has like dinosaurs as their mascot? And I started losing my goddamn mind, because this is an OG reference that Monty created, like, out of the blue for, like, no apparent reason, and just created a non-canonical, non-meta, like, in-house, like, meme for the community themselves. It's known as the RWBY Rex, also known as the RWBY Raptor, more appropriately, because it is a raptor than like a T-Rex or anything like that. And this raptor basically found its home on Rooster Teeth, in RWBY, due to Monty. So this is all Monty's creation, by the way. So the reference on the left obviously is of the latest chapter, but these 3 images are what Monty created during volume 1. And it came out during, like, it was from the base, like, poser models. And, you know what I mean? Like, it was a reference that he created in volume 1. And it's made a recurring appearance in volumes 2 and volume 3. And I'm actually going to switch over to Twitter, because I do have those tweets present here. So this one was in February 13th, 2013. So, being at my desk for 27 hours results in stuff like this. It's just like Monty being Monty. Like, look at this. Like, White Rose riding on a raptor with a top hat and a rainbow in the background. Like, classic fucking Monty. Like, that's that's literally our Monty. Like, just doing, like, and then I think someone, and Miles mentions, great, now everyone knows the ending to volume 1. Another one that he did was, after a long mission, Team RWBY joins for some late night coffee at their favorite 24-hour diner. And I think this was also like an internal reference to Miles, Monty, Carrie, and Gray. They would always go to their 24-hour or late night IHOP and write for RWBY, like write the show. And I think that's kind of like what he was referencing here, but it's Blake, Weiss, and RWBY with the Raptor pouring Blake a cup of tea. Wait a minute. This breaks canon. Blake doesn't drink coffee. She drinks tea. No. Oh, no. Well, you know what? Hold on. You know what? I'll give them credit because this was volume 1 and we didn't know that Blake, I don't think we knew that Blake liked tea until volume 3 or 2. You know what? It's the man's show. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Also, they're at White Castle Diner of all places, you know, so it's very fitting for Weiss. And then Ruby's eating like bagels or donut. I don't really know, bagels or donuts or something. Yeah, Ruby and Weiss like coffee. Blake likes tea. But I mean, she's staring in the face of a Raptor who's offering coffee. So I wouldn't decline it either. You know, let's just go with that. All right, let's just go with the fact that it was a strategic play on Blake's part, so that way she didn't die. And then this third one here is Team RWBY is finally together and rocks so hard. And this was after the trailers came out. So the last trailer came out on Yo, he tweeted this on my birthday. This is my birthday, June 2nd. And this is when I discovered the yellow trailer. The yellow trailer came out on my birthday. And he tweeted this out after all 4 girls were released. But this was before Chapter 1 came out. So, like, RWBY on the guitar, Weiss on the keyboard, piano, Blake on bass, Yang on drums. Isn't that what they did for Chibi? Wait, is that how it worked out in Chibi? Like, was that their exact... I don't remember. I don't remember who had what. I think these were the roles that they were given in RWBY Chibi during the Battle of the Bands. I don't know. Oh, Yang was on guitar. Okay. All right, literally not canon because it wasn't in this order. You failed, Rooster Teeth. RWBY Chibi, literally unwatchable now. But yeah, I don't know. It was just great to see, and you know, it just reminded, you know, it's a literal Monty thing that he put in the show for nothing more than just for shits and giggles, and then everyone was like, dude, you need to find a way to put this in the show, and lo and behold, that ended up being the case. So, for those who didn't know, you can actually find the RWBY Raptor in volumes 1, volumes 2, and volume 3. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the RWBY Raptor since volume 3, so obviously volumes 4, 5, and 6, it has yet to make a return. Maybe the RWBY Raptor is exclusive to the Kingdom of Vale. You know, it can't travel long distances or travel in water, you know, to go to any of the other kingdoms. But he is in Beacon. He's still alive, I hope. And hopefully he will be the trump card. You know what? I'm pretty sure the RWBY Raptor is the Beacon relic. But yeah, so the Raptor, if you go and watch these particular episodes and look at these particular scenes, you will see the RWBY Raptor. In the volume 1 finale, when Penny shoots the 2 bullhead airships during the finale. In volume 2, sitting in the crowd while Pyrrha's versing Mercury, and then volume 3 volume 2 chapter 5, volume 1 chapter 16, and volume 3 chapter 10. I think that one's chapter 10, when like Beacon's like the foregrounds are like everyone's like losing their minds because the Grim, you know, basically the fall of Beacon is starting, and the Raptor is in one of the concession stands. So yeah, they brought back the Raptor in the form of like a little statuette figure on top of the car. And again, people are like, wait, dinosaurs exist in RWBY? And I'm like, you fool, this is a reference. And another thing that I liked about it, going back to Twitter really quick, another thing that I liked is that I tweeted about this. I was like, please, for the love of God, tell me that this is a reference to the fabled RWBY Rex from the volume 1 through 3 days. And then you have a bunch of Rooster Teeth staff. No one deliberately confirmed this. No one literally was like, Arnold, you hit the nail on the head. That is in fact the RWBY Rex. They were just giving these like very semi-confirmation like tweets, right? Even Carrie, like the director, he like gave me this tweet right here. Like, you know, just like, hey, good eye on you, kid. And yeah, everybody else was just kind of like, you know, like, I it's the Raptor. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I literally don't care what you have to say. That's the Rex Raptor, the RWBY Raptor, rather, from Volume 1 through 3, making a comeback in Volume 7. And I was really happy to see that. You know, it just reminds you, again, of the humble beginnings. The humble beginnings, the first of many memes and moments of Monty. And again, it's just another part of him that lives on in the show. Let's see. Michael Scott, yeah. I had literally no idea of this reference until today. Yeah, like I said, hey, what's up, Dashy? Thank you for joining. Yeah, like I said, it's an oldie. It's a very old reference that I'm not saying like you had to be there to know it, but like if you weren't around at the time, it would be very hard unless you like did research on like references and just looked into like every nook and cranny of RWBY as a concept, from references and Easter eggs to trivia and just general like, yeah, just trivia facts and stuff like that. Yeah. Holy shit, it's a dinosaur. Yeah, I feel old too, Dan. It's been 6 years since RWBY's been going on. But yeah, that's a classic. I'm glad that it's back. And so we have the whole party, Ironwood and his plus 16 people. There were 17 people in total that Ironwood had show up, and I'm like, damn, dude, like, I was starting to question how big Jacques' table was, but of course, like, not everyone was there for you know, the kind of, not everyone was invited to the dinner table, is basically what I'm getting at. And I love how Whitley mentioned that. He was like, dude, how big do you think our table is? Their table, I think, could fit, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Their table can fit, I think, 18 people. And he had 17. And that's not including the people that were already at the table, like Jacques and Robin and the other 2 council people. So I think 2 or 3 people would have had to stand or just not be there. Yeah, but a party of 17 is a little extra. We get to see Whitley again. You know what's crazy? It's so crazy how night and day people are with Whitley now. Right? Like, obviously everyone just really like found Whitley annoying or didn't like him or just lumped him up with Jacques. But I think this chapter really gave a lot of people the level of like sympathy that they needed to have for Whitley. Like, now knowing that he's just as much of a victim as Winter or Weiss, and that, you know, he doesn't really have a choice in the matter. He's the youngest of the bunch. He's not old enough to join the military. I don't think he's old enough to go to a Huntsman Academy or join, you know, Atlas just yet. And maybe even that's not, you know, in his eyes, maybe that's something that he doesn't even want. But he's clearly been groomed for so long to the point where he doesn't really even have his own identity. He's literally just a mini Jacques. He's like Whitley himself. I don't even know who Whitley is himself. He's just everything that his father has made him to be. And, you know, Eruption Fang made a video 2 years ago, like he called this 2 years out. You know, he called this during Volume 4, that, you know, Whitley could be a potential victim to his father's upbringings. And he was one of the first people that, like, called it. And I was like, holy shit, like, and that video, from the time I watched that video, I was forever changed by Whitley. So ever since then, I've always wanted to see Whitley, and I was always, like, eager to kind of give him another chance, because I was one of those people who lumped Whitley in with with Jacques, just by the fact of, like, you look like Jacques, you remind me of Jacques, you act like him, you clearly, like, screwed your sister over with what she wanted, or, you know, with the whole plans of everything, you were going along with it. It was kind of, like, sadistic of him at the time. But yeah, I definitely love where they're taking Whitley now, like humanizing him, and it's not really his fault, you know? it's really like Jacques is at the fault of everyone's like grief and strife and turmoil in this family. No matter how they behave or how they act, it all comes down to, and I think this is for a lot of people, there is a part of you, a part of how you talk, how you behave, how you act and react, that always falls back to how you were raised and the people that raised you. At least I'm a firm believer of that. You know, there are still things in my life as an adult that I think back on in my childhood that I wish didn't happen or I wish went differently, and that still affects me as an adult. But it's like, I'm an adult, I shouldn't care anymore. I'm in control of my future, of my life now, but it still falls back to who I was when I was a kid, how I was treated, how I was raised, the people that were in my life, the people that raised me, and everything else like that. So I feel even Winter, like in this chapter specifically, like even Winter, after everything that she's pushed away from the family, a part of her still kind of like pulls back into that level of, you know, there's just a lot of emotional things going on with her because she's home for the first time in God knows how long. So I completely sympathize with Whitley, with Winter, with Weiss, with Willow, and how this whole family dynamic is kind of like really shitty because of Jacques. Watch Klein come back riding on the Raptor at the end of the volume. That's what I want to see now. I want to see someone draw the Ruby Rex Raptor, like with Klein joining in, like with a different set of colored eyes, like his red eyes, his red personality. Yeah, Psychology 101 up in there. Yeah, for real. Klein and Ciel Soleil. Yeah, the forgotten characters of the Atlas arc. I really hope we see Klein. But yeah, that's where we came through. Yeah, look at that. Speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. Your boy Klein was let go because he was a real one and he helped Weiss escape. That's clearly why he got let go. There's no other way of explaining, like, how did my daughter escape unless she had the only way of knowing how to get out. And who would do that? You know? So it's really sad to see that. And that was the one thing I was hoping. Like, I went into this chapter with 3 expectations. I was like, I want new outfits. I didn't get that. So I wanted new, like, formal, like, attire for, like, a dinner party. Didn't get that. I wanted to see Klein after 3 years. I was sadly disappointed because they literally told me in this chapter, you're not seeing Klein, Arnold, I'm sorry. And I wanted to see Mama Schnee. Thank God I wasn't struck out 3 times. So at the very least, one of my 3 expectations came to fruition by the end of the by the middle towards the end of the chapter. But yeah, I miss him, man. You know, he's the 7 dwarves. How are you gonna just get rid of him like that? We haven't even seen all of his personality traits. He clearly was the best butler this guy had, and I don't know. He meant so much to the family. I wanted to see how he interacted with Winter and Whitley. Obviously, Whitley's, a specific case, but like Winter in particular, because I don't know. I just feel like he was a part of their childhood. Like he was also a part of raising them. You know what I mean? Like that's Weiss's family too, and they even said that. Towards the end of volume 4, he was like, oh, I suppose Winter will be the only family you'll have after tonight. And she's like, I'll always have you. And now he's gone. So hopefully this man lives in Atlas. Hopefully this man isn't like living on the streets and he's okay and he's good, because I don't know. I almost want to say, like, when all hope is lost, when you feel like, when literally all hope is lost, when everyone is down and we have no idea how the heroes are going to make it out of this by the end of the Atlas arc, I feel like Klein will be the one to come through and save the day. That's completely wishful thinking, just for the sake that I want to see Klein in the Atlas arc. I feel so betrayed that we didn't get to see him. You know, I just never thought, I thought that they'd be able to pull pull the wool over, Jacques' eyes of how Weiss escaped without actually like revealing how she escaped. Yeah, I know he's just a butler, but like, I don't know. He's literally their family. So you could bet your ass that I was very, very upset by the fact that he got the boot. And again, it's just the fact we haven't seen him for 3 years, you know, just to see him and see his expressions and how excited he would be to see Weiss again and see Winter for the first time in so long. God knows how he was feeling or how he was treated after she left. I don't know if he got let go immediately after she left, because then at that point he's been gone just as long as she has. But yeah, Ironwood literally brought the whole family for the first time, all of the Schnees under the same roof. Like I said, a few of my expectations weren't met because I thought it was going to be a very different dynamic. I was like, for the first time in a long time, all of the Schnees are going to be under the same roof. But the only ones that interacted with each other, Winter didn't even really interact with Jacques. She just like yelled at him and then ran off. Weiss interacted with her mother, but that was really it. I don't know how Whitley would interact with Winter, vice versa, how Winter would interact with Mama Schnee, vice versa. You know, we saw that with Weiss and Willow. I'd assume it would only be the same for Winter, but Winter's the older sibling, you know what I mean? How would she feel about her mother's entire ordeal or situation? We saw a little bit of, we already know how Winter feels about her father, you know what I mean? She hid in a freaking van in a truck until her father left before she came out to greet everybody back in chapter 4. Chapter 4. So like clearly she doesn't like her father, and you know, I think we can all imply how the interaction between Willow and Jacques is on a regular basis, which is really fucked up. But I just wanted to see the whole family reunite and talk to each other and interact with each other, and there's still time for that. The setting is still at the Schnee Manor as of right now. I don't know if it's gonna last, but I just hope that there's more to be expressed with the family. So from there we move into the grand hall area of the place, and this obviously immediately reminds me of like the walking transition moments from volume 4, volume 7. That Maya engine's working out really well for you, RWBY. Keep up the good work. Now, there's been a little bit of discussion, like if these two areas are the exact same, because clearly this one looks like a much more revamped version. You know, there's more windows. The statues aren't exactly the same. The area looks fuller and more like detailed. Or it could just simply be a different part of the house for all we know. But I just think the two sections here look great. Oh yeah, the meme. Okay, so Ross, here's the thing. I forgot to put the memes in the in OBS while I was putting the stream together. So just give me 1 second. I just remembered because I just skipped the one scene. Don't worry, I remembered the Watts one. The Watts one's at the very end. It's literally impossible for me to miss that one. But yeah, so really quick, let me put one of these memes in here so you guys can see. So we can see Ross in all of his glory. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I literally forgot as I was putting this together. Oh, okay. So, boom. Here we. Oh, hold on. Ta-da! Great. Oh, great. Carolers. This one was really clever. Literally Christmas carol. Like, 'tis the season on top of that. Like, you couldn't be more accurate with going with this meme of all of them. So, Christmas carolers. I love how there's a Christmas tree in the background. The other guests in the party actually have hats too, and Whitley's also wearing reindeer horns, or reindeer antlers, I should say. I don't know why I said horns. I'm an idiot. Don't mind me. Weiss's tiny hat. Yeah, because her hair is bigger than her head. But yeah, so shout out to Ross in the chat, everybody. He's at it once again. And there's another one. There is for sure another one. It's over the crown. Yeah. Her little her tiara crown that she has. It's on top of that. So it's very fitting in that regard too. Weiss couldn't fit the hat over that weave. Yeah, if anything's buffering for you, you might need to refresh, but I'm not dropping frames or anything. There's no issues on my end with the internet. I do see someone mentioning that their buffer, it keeps buffering for you. Either that or try lowering the resolution of the video on your end. That might be another thing too. But yeah, so moving on from there. Hold on, give me a second. So moving on from that, again, shout out to the comparisons, because this clearly shows. See, this is another thing that I really love about the fact of the scaling of the new Maya, like the Autodesk Maya that they're using, is because this turned into this with experience and with time. And obviously they were working on this engine for the first time with RWBY while they were also making Volume 4. So the fact that they were able to use this and learn it while also making something at the same time is really impressive. And they obviously just went all in on Maya instead of going from Maya then to Poser for the models. So I just think that it's super crazy that they're using the same program, the exact same program, but it's just the level of scaling and the level of obviously a bigger team and just more experience that shows 3 years of work. This is the difference of 3 years of just working on it from Volume 4 to Volume 7. Yeah, it's just no longer a Matei painting, it's actually 3D scaled, which is great. Might want to lower your resolutions. Unintentional pun. Oh yeah, New Year's resolution. Yeah. Deck the halls with upgraded visuals. Fa la 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 la. Yeah, it's also zoomed out a bit. Yeah, for sure. It just covers more. It's a wider depth of field. But from there, all right, hold on, let me find my place again. Okay, here we go. So this is really impressive. And I say that because there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think there's either 17 or 18 people animated in this one shot. 17 to 18 people walking in this one shot, which is pretty nuts. I don't think it's that easy to make. Obviously you have all the other models standing still because it's yo, we're animating this. Fuck all these other people. They can stand still looking like statues for all I care. I think Ironwood's party is 17 and then Whitley would be 18. I didn't count that well, so hold on, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, there's 18, I think. I'm just gonna go with 18. It's either 17 or 18, but I'm gonna go with 18. So yeah, shout out to whoever the fuck animated this. You have my freaking, you're gonna get a seal of approval from me, because God knows if this was done by one person, I feel for you. And I really hope this is all that you did this chapter, because you know what I mean? Having all of these people moving in a natural way, no clipping, no bumping into each other or anything like that. I can only imagine. And then on top of that, the camera's also panning as this is happening. So nobody said there'd be math. Yeah. I forgot to check beforehand. And then I did check, but I forgot the official number. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was really impressive, and wanted to showcase it overall, because I don't know a thing about animation, but I just know that the more people you got moving, the more tedious it is, the more difficult it is to pull off, most likely. And I do basic, and I mean very basic, keyframing for still images when I make my YouTube videos. So God knows how hard it is to keyframe moving actual characters, and then add 17 characters in close proximity of each other. And yeah, I I couldn't even imagine. So definitely shout out to whoever ended up doing this, or whatever individual or collective group of people that put this together, because I can already tell you that definitely wasn't easy to do. So from that, we have the good luck moment. These two over here, good luck. Well, they already have you here. Don't, like, wish us luck. It's like, well, they already have you here, don't they? Okay. We get it. You guys are buddy-buddy. Now, this is great. Lucky Charms. Well, one's a good luck charm, one's a bad luck charm. I like Fair Game. I like that. I like the ship name of Fair Game for these two. Clover is, it's clever because it's with a Q instead of a C, but the name is still Clover. So I like Fair Game better. Clover is just a smartass sometimes. Yeah, Blake's Blake peekaboo's behind Crow's shoulder. I just noticed that now. Like, you can just only see like her eye, like she's lurking basically. Let's see. Sherlock Weiss finished. Bad luck is red eyes, green. Oh yeah, I mean, well, his eyes are like reddish. I wouldn't say that Clover's eyes are blue. They look more like teal or like turquoise. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about Clover still, because ever since he commented on RWBY, he was like, "Your niece sure is one of a kind, huh?" Like, I'm like suspect of him. I feel like he's buttering up Crow, and he's getting Crow to be really friendly and cordial with him, because it's like, if he is a traitor, the number one thing you want is Crow on your side, because he's the bad luck charm. He's the one that counteracts your good luck. So if you have to fight him, you're going to want your semblance to outdo his semblance. And you also would give him a level of confliction, because, you know, you're telling him all these nice things. You're being super supportive and encouraging and uplifting for him. And that's exactly what he needs. And he's vulnerable, and he quit drinking, and he's changing his life around. And it's just a perfect opportunity for Clover to do all of those things for Crow, knowing that out of everyone in the room, he's probably the one that's the most threatening to him if he is a bad guy. So, I don't know. I don't want him to be a bad guy, but I swear to God, ever since that chapter, I'm like, why would he just single out RWBY like that? And it's because of the silver eyes and all that other shit. So, and he's the perfect foil for Crow. So, and vice versa. Crow would be the perfect foil for Clover. I don't know. I just don't know what that would do with Crow at this point, because it would just kind of like reaffirm what he already feels about himself, which is no matter where he goes, no matter who he meets, no matter how too good to be true it can be, it is just that. It's too good to be true. So, yeah, I don't know. I still feel very, very suspect about Clover right now. Another thing too is just the fact of like the number 4 is so significant for this show, right? 4 seasons, 4 maidens, 4 schools, 4 relics, 4 people on a team, but the Aesops are 5 people. But if one of them is a traitor, I swear to God, if Clover's a traitor, man. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on from there. I am, of course, very proud of Crow for having the strength and the will to deny a drink. I can only imagine how difficult that would be. You know what I mean? Like him looking at the drinks, being tempted, contemplating the idea, and realizing, like, no, I can't do this. Like, turning his life around. Really, really proud of him for that. Just because Volume 6 definitely showed me the worst version of Crow, the Crow that I hope I don't have to see again, because every time I saw him drunk, I was very upset with him, and I was very upset about the situation, the fact that he, like, you know what I mean, as the adult, as the huntsman, as the pro, you know, he was letting himself go so much that, like, his niece and everyone else had to, like, literally pick his drunk ass up off the freaking sidewalk. So, you know, like, I'm genuinely impressed that he quit cold turkey. I don't know if they're going to have any type of, like, relapse moments or withdrawal moments for Crow when it comes to drinking. Some people can just quit cold turkey. I've definitely seen and I know people who've done it. That doesn't necessarily mean that, like, everyone has to go through this gripping battle with giving up an addiction. It's definitely common, but, you know, and especially if Clover is in fact like a foil and eventually betrays Crow, I can easily see Crow being tempted to go back to drinking because of that. So, I was just really happy, really proud of him. The fact that his character feels like a 180, especially because of the fact that he doesn't drink anymore, you know? And I just really like the evolution of his character, because for as long as we've known Crow, he's been Drunkle Crow, and it's been the butt of every joke, and it's been super fun, and like, oh my gosh, Crow's so cool, he's so awesome, he drinks, he's a badass fighter, but like, we really shouldn't be happy for the fact that he's drunk, because like, that's some people's real life. And like, I think because Rooster Teeth was so like nonchalant about it, it was accepted. But then once you got to see like the bad drunk, that's when you were just like, okay, as a whole, this probably needs to stop. This probably needs to get better for him. So overall, very happy for my boy. Hope he continues to stay strong, stay sober, stay positive. And if Clover is in fact a traitor, I'm going to be way more concerned for Crow moving forward. Let's see. Dark Magic. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. 2020 is almost coming. Happy New Year. And looks like you need, look like you need a big hug. Hey, bring it in. Bring it in. Happy holidays. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Nimble Fox, thank you as well for the donation. The team of 5 reminds me of the anime Black Clover. In the 4th leaf is good luck. In the 5th lies the devil. I'm literally scared now. What are you doing? Thank you so much for the support, you guys. Appreciate it very, very much. You could say that he's acting more grown up. Don't know if I approve of that one. I do appreciate the super chat. I appreciate your attempt. Miguel Lugo, thanks for being you. That's a cute little super chat sticker. Thank you so much for the donation, buddy. The super chat, I appreciate ya. Yeah, more Crow puns. You learn to live with it, okay? You just learn over time. You just accept it, all right? And you just move on. So I need to talk about this again because you know how I feel about these. This is the first chapter that we've seen all of the, well, not all of, but we see the Aesops actively with the gravity cuffs on their person. Clover has one on his backside. Harriet has one on her backside. Vine Zeki has one on his backside. And so again, just shout out to the fact that Gravity Dust is so fucking dope that they brought these things on them in case anything happens, because anything can happen at one of these fancy schmancy dinner parties, especially since Ironwood's out in the open and Robin's out in the open and Tyrion's at large. God knows who's going to try to pull something and try to assassinate someone here. I don't know if, I think Marrow had one on him too. I didn't get a clip of him, but at the very least, these 3 did have one on them. So that was great. Oh yeah, Marrow does have one. I can see it right there. Oh wow, you have a good eye. I completely missed that one. For shame. That's a for shame for me. Good eye on you. Good eye on you for sure. Yo, what up, Vexed? Arnold, never do that internet hug again. You can't tell me how to live my life. Trust me, it was impulsive. I wasn't thinking. I was just doing what came naturally. But yeah, so we have the gravity cuffs. I'm a big fan of the gravity dust in this that they've been showcasing the last couple of volumes. A lot of world building aspects, a lot of cool ways that it's utilized for weapons, for utilities, for for transportation and everything like that. I also circled the piano, and it's probably like, why the hell did he circle the piano? Because this entire opening sequence here had piano music, and there was an actual piano in the room, and there was someone playing the piano. So I thought that was nice attention to detail to the fact of like, yeah, this is obviously like you need music for the scene itself, but it plays into the scene also because someone's playing the piano in the room. So I thought that was really neat. And I actually looked out for that. I was like, wait a minute, I hear piano playing. Is someone actually playing a piano? And when I saw it, I was really satisfied. I was like, yes, they fucking nailed it. Good stuff. Yeah, so that's why I circled the piano. It has nothing to do with the gravity cuffs, I promise you. Oh, here is something that I noticed, though, that you can probably notice it. Once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. So Whitley decides, hey, everyone that's going into the dining hall, please follow me to the left here as we're walking into the room. And then he suddenly appears on the top of the steps out of nowhere. Like how did you do that in like 5 seconds? That's an oopsie from me. That's an oopsie. I didn't question it in the reaction for some reason. I just felt maybe there was a skip in time, but it didn't feel like it. It's like literally go in here. They actually show them go in the door and the door closed, and then literally 2 seconds. Yeah, it was literally seconds later because Harriet was like, don't break anything, don't wander off, and if the general, and be alert in case the general calls you. And then immediately after that, Yang's like, how about we do wander off, do consider breaking things, and all that other stuff. And then Weiss is like, I'll be in touch, and she starts walking towards the stairs. And then Whitley's already at the top of the steps. So I'm just like, something doesn't add up here. Unless that's his semblance. You know what? You know what's funny? Every time an inconsistency pops up, someone's first response is, maybe that's their semblance. I think that's really funny. Literally unwatchable. It's always like, that's always like the first thing that I read. It's like, maybe that's the person's semblance. Blake's coat shows up back in volume. Blake's wearing her coat for 5 seconds in a scene. Maybe that's how her semblance evolves. No. It's obviously an oopsie, but one that I felt was still worth showcasing. Nothing's perfect. Semblance explaining plot holes. Yeah. It's literally not a time skip. Like, the second the doors close, Crow's like, I don't want to drink anymore. I'm gonna go patrol the grounds. Marrow goes with him. The rest of the Aesops are like, hey, stay on standby. Yang responds to what she says. Weiss walks off to the side, and Whitley's already coming down the top of the stairs. So yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not like, this is the worst episode, guys, because of that one. Like, it is what it is. You gotta call it like you see it. And I just think picking out those inconsistencies is interesting because it just shows that no one's perfect. It's fine to kind of point things out. It doesn't mean that you're any less of a fan. So yeah. And then, so another thing too, I am going to be bouncing around because this episode was jumping between a bunch of different scenes. So we're in the grand hall area. Like, we're in like the open, like, I guess, party area of the Schnee Manor, and then we're in here, and then we jump to Weiss and the mom, and then we come back here, and then we go to Watts. So there's a lot of jumping around, so I do apologize for that, but I'm gonna just try my best to kind of get through everything and just get through my thoughts in general. So obviously here we get introduced, we get to see Jacques Schnee again. Yay. And what's really cool about this scene, though, is actually, let me just full mode this image really quick. So we see the picture of, I assume this was taken, so this picture was either taken after Weiss went to Beacon or after she left when she came back home. So like either during the Beacon arc or after Volume 4, because it's just Whitley, you know? It's as if like that's literally the perfect picture of their family, or that's like Jacques' perception of his family, the wife that he gets to control and manipulate and abuse, and the son that he gets to groom to basically become his trophy son, and by proxy gets everything he wants through his son's like transcendence through the company. You know what I mean? It's just another pawn that he can control even after he has to hand over all of that success to Whitley over time. So long story short, fuck Jacques Schnee. And this image as well, this one I really liked because I actually circled the image to the right, but that I believe is Nicholas, jolly old Saint Nicholas Schnee, the Santa Claus himself. That is Weiss, Whitley, and Winter's grandfather, the one who founded the Schnee Dust Company, who kind of like founded a lot of the prosperity that came from Atlas, you know, through Jacques basically being a huntsman and kind of leading all of the research and growth of the kingdom during his lifetime. And the fact that he's wearing like this giant ass suit of armor is even more badass and super cool. And there's more, there's just a lot more of him that we can see from the one like Schnee gallery room, it looked like when Weiss is like trying to go to the father's office. So yeah, I think Nicholas Schnee is a reference to jolly old Saint Nicholas, because in the world of Remnant of the Schnee Dust Company, and it talks about Nicholas Schnee, like Crow refers to him as jolly old, like old Saint Nicholas, and that's literally a reference to Santa Claus. So long story short, Weiss, Whitley, and Winter's grandfather is Santa Claus in this show, which is pretty cool. Also, Robin was here. I was very surprised to see Robin here as well, because like, I don't know. I just felt like after everything that she was doing, right? She was a vigilante and everything. She came here of her own volition when the Aesops in Ironwood were literally just trying to apprehend her not too long ago. And she technically is still like a fugitive, not a fugitive, but like a vigilante of the law, because her and her people are still going around like robbing transports and whatnot. So maybe she just has diplomatic immunity because she's here and everyone's just trying to hash out their business and try to figure out the next course of action, also putting a lot of pressure on Ironwood. So maybe that's why she feels safe to just be here and do all of that. Santa's fake. You get out of my chat right now, all right? Don't you come here spreading those lies. But, evening. Hey, what's going on, Winter? You joined at the perfect time. We were just talking about Nicholas Schnee. This was interesting as well. Team Juniper up to no good. I liked this scene probably more so for the transitions than the actual moment itself. It's just like, hey, how do we dump all of this food on Whitley in a way that's inconspicuous and doesn't make us out to be like, doesn't point out exactly what we're doing. I actually had to watch this scene like 2 to 3 times to see everyone's perspective, because the first time I think I was just exclusively watching the food and how it was going to like reach its destination, and I wasn't looking at the other reactions here, like Ren and John's reaction, like how they were super stoked and excited, and then they were like, yikes, that's a yikes from me, Chief. And the plan still ended up working, you know? Granted, it was with red wine, but, you know, it still happened nonetheless. Yeah, so I think the transitions here were great. You get to see the perspective of Jean, Nora, Ren. You see Whitley and Weiss again, and then it transitions back to Jean, to Nora, to Ren. I just thought it was a little like Ren and like Nora in particular was being extra goofy in this moment. Like, you're not selling this at all. Also, no, that was not a peppermint that Oscar was eating. Someone tweeted that and thought that's what it was. It's basically like a party snack that he's eating, and it's on like a toothpick stick too. So it's kind of like, it's almost more like an hors d'oeuvre than anything. Can we get this with the Mission Impossible? Oh, I think I just came up with the next video I'm gonna upload because of that. Can we have this with the Mission Impossible theme? You know what? Yes, you can. Just wait until the chapter's out for everybody, and I'll definitely do that. That is so awesome. I literally just did a video like that the other day. I dubbed it Watts' Symphony, where like he's just conducting his orchestra, his symphony of chaos and destruction as Tyrion is going around killing everybody. And I did it with the specific like opera-esque music of Hunter x Hunter, because that's my favorite anime of all time. So liquid physics. That one, yeah, that woman's reaction was a little extra, for sure. But yeah, I just thought like on a technical level, it's just really interesting to see how they're showcasing multiple perspectives at the same time, even though it's a very basic thing they're trying to do, but they're trying to be inconspicuous about it. Ren just like just freaking shoves his shoulder into Nora. But yeah, this moment was a thing. The one thing that I'm upset about, the true victim here, is all of that food just went to waste. And Nora grabbed all the food. So this lady was gonna go get some hors d'oeuvres, and she can't even get any now. She actually got pelted with a bunch of it. Yikes. And then Whitley just got doused in some red wine. Yeah, it was a half-ass food fight, you know? Not my food fight. That would have been dope, but that would have also been a great way for them to get kicked out. So, again, gotta stay cordial. So here, we got some political moves being had. I don't like Watts. I don't like this man. Yeah, Whitley was also T-posing. But yeah, I mean, he's so conniving, dude. Like, he's working with Watts. He's working with Tyrion. He knows who's killing those people. He knows who's hacking everything. And he is the exact reason why Ironwood is very reluctant in trusting people. You know? Like, he's in the know. And if he knows more than he already does, it's going to be problems for everyone. So I compliment and I applaud the fact that Ironwood has that level of restraint to just be like, I want these people on my side. I got to tell them in order for all of us to be on the same page. And you know what the most like messed up thing about this is? Not messed up, but like, I don't know. It's just a very symbolic thing. If you look at the panning that I did for the bottom right image, actually, you know what? I'll blow this image up really quick just so I can better emphasize what I'm referring to. So from right to left, you got Jacques, you got Councilman Sleet, Councilwoman Camilla, you have Robin, who is straight down the middle of the table, and then you have Ironwood, Clover, Winter, and Penny. And, you know, it's clear, like, two sides, factions that are on opposite ends, almost basically opposing each other, and you got Robin down the middle who doesn't know who to trust or hasn't picked a side yet. You know what I mean? She's literally a fence sitter as of right now. I think it would be appropriate for her to complete the symmetry on Ironwood's side, you know, the empty seat next to Clover. And she does know, to an extent, that Ironwood means well and that he means what he says when he says the communications tower is going to help with all of the issues and it's going to help the people. That's what I'm a little confused about, right? Like, she was very, I know, again, she's still like Mantle's champion and she's the one that's speaking and fighting for them because these two sides are just fighting over like, oh, the communications tower is going to help everybody. And like Robin's like, everybody, like what about us? Like, can we worry about our home? Can we worry about our people before we start worrying about the rest of the world? And obviously she doesn't have the full context of what he's referring to, but even though she knows that Ironwood means well, she's still not willing to just immediately like trust him and be on his side because of what Blake and Yang told him. Camilla and Harriet are the same voice actress. Really? I did not realize that. I'm so glad to see Dr. Watts has been so effective so far. I knew that there was a reason he was one of my favorite villains before Volume 7. I love what RWBY's doing with him so far. Yeah, I definitely agree. Going into this volume, I think going into this volume and just the volumes overall, I wanted Watts to be really great because I felt that there was a level of one-dimensional... Like, every villain seemed very one-dimensional, you know, like, whether it was their motivations, whether it was just who they were as villains, right? I mentioned it, I think I've mentioned it numerous times at this point, but, like, Cinder is just power-hungry, and she's angry at one girl because she got the best of her in this one random scenario. Tyrion is crazy because that's who he is, like, that he's crazy, and he just likes killing things. Very one-dimensional, in my opinion. And Hazel had a lot of mystique behind him, but then once you realize his motivation was, you know, just basically like revenge, and he just has a hate boner for Ozpin, it seems like Watts is far more sophisticated, and he's far more interesting of a villain than everybody else, because again, he's all about the brains, not so much the bronze. So I felt like there's been a level of disappointment for every villain that I've gotten so far. Granted, I think Tyrion is still my favorite of the ones that we've gotten, but Watts is by far right now like my favorite. Like, they haven't fucked him up yet. I really hope that they keep this level. Like, I really hope that they just only go up with Watts, because there's so much potential, and he's literally like running circles around everybody. And you know, it's going to be crazy to see, especially if Watts survives the fall of Atlas and is still around and in the picture going into Vacuo and everything else like that. Because it seems like everyone else had a bit of a, I guess not everybody. Like, Watts in particular has a specific vendetta against Atlas. But I don't know if they're going to have, like, an informant like they did Leo and Mistral, or someone like Watts who's very knowledgeable about Atlas when they go to Vacuo. You know, I think Vacuo is going to be like where, okay, we need this relic, you know, this staff of limitless power, so we can just run into Vacuo, guns blazing, and just use it and just eviscerate everybody. But yeah, I definitely agree. Watts has done nothing but like steal the show in terms of like what he's been doing, and he hasn't even been popping off really. He's just been kind of doing basic shit that just looks really impressive when he pulls it off, because it's like, wow, a villain who actually gets shit done and doesn't fuck something up or doesn't lose every time they go into a fight, and keeps their composure and thinks tactfully and doesn't hold a grudge or has like a crazy vendetta. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Watts. I'm gonna stop gushing over him right now. But yeah, overall, you know, this entire moment here was just a big play, a big power move for Jacques, of course. He knows what's really going on. And I liked the winter moment as well. I wish there was more to it, I will be honest, just because it's like she let her her temper got the better of her. And I don't know, I do like how she stood up and spoke against him, because like out of everyone, I wanted to see how that interaction between these two were. Her outburst, her outburst was definitely valid and satisfying. I was like, yeah, fuck Jacques. You tell him, Winter. But then he twisted her words around and made it into twisted her words around and gained the upper hand again. And like, what he's saying isn't false. You know, it just makes things way harder on Ironwood to just like ask for other people to try. You know what I mean? It's like Beacon again. You know, he talks about trust and wanting people to trust him, but he wants to talk about trust, but he doesn't want to show it. Now, I will say this. He has a good reason for not wanting to show it to just anybody, because you never know who's on the inside. And Watts is Jacques one of those people. You know? You tell Jacques something, he's going to go tell Watts something, he's going to go tell Salem something, and that's GG's. You know? So it sucks that he's got to just swallow this, you know, he's just got to take the hits. I don't know what this means for, because here's another thing too. Ironwood has had a big power play on his side this entire time, right? He's been living lavish for the most part, getting everything that he wants. Like the one councilman said, he's lived with a bunch of with a lot of autonomy these last few years, you know? And it's because of the fact that he holds 2 seats on the council. And I don't know if there was a council person before Jacques. I don't know if Jacques took the place of another council person or if a seat opened up. But that just means that if there was Sleet, Camilla, and Ironwood would always have like a stalemate unless one of them agreed with him. But now it's 2v3. It's Camilla, Sleet, who are now completely influenced by Jacques. That's 3 versus Ironwood's 2, because he holds 2 seats on the council because he's the general and the headmaster. But you have like the leader of the Schnee Company, you know, the industry leader of the Schnee Company, and I don't know what these other 2 random houses are in charge of or why they're important, but they're council people as well. So, you know, it's just like the power and the influence is on Jacques now, because these 2 dumbasses are so influential. They'll believe who the more powerful, they'll follow whoever's the more influential or the more powerful in the room. And you can also tell by like how the dinner is arranged too, because if you look, you can see that Jacques has wine for his guests, and then he gave water to everybody else, to these other 2, like to Ironwood's party. So he's just, you know what I mean? He's just trying to butter up and make the other 2 feel at home, so that way, you know, he's just trying to be friendly. He's wearing a mask right now just to get their influence on his side so he can do whatever he wants. So, are their cups empty? I thought there was water in their cups. Their cups aren't empty. There's water in their cups. Nah, them cups empty. They've had their drinks. No, that's water, Yan. I was like, wait, no, there isn't. Yeah, there's water. While these guys are drinking the finest wine. So, it's just like Ironwood Jacques knows who his friends are, essentially, or he thinks he knows who his friends are. Whitley had all the wine. No, Mama Schnee had all the wine. Let's be real. But yeah, I don't know. This whole sequence is just like, he's wrapping him around his finger. Like, he knows what he wants. He knows how to get it. He knows how to talk. He's got that silver tongue. He's got the 2 people he needs on his side. He's got 3 seats on the council on his side versus Ironwood's 2. And no one seems to want to trust him. No one seems to want to believe him. And it just makes things even harder for the satellite. The satellite goes up, and then what? You have these 3 council folk who want nothing to do with you, who have run out of patience with you in terms of trust, and you still have this fucking nuke to drop on people. Not to mention, you got Tyrion and Watts, who are very well going to stop you, Salem, who's on her way, Team RWBY, who's hiding the truth from you on top of that, and not a lot of options left. Like, legitimately, I don't know what other options they could have left, you know? And we got 5 chapters for them to find a way to kind of leave us off for the volume. And Watts and Tyrion are just like eating everyone's lunch. You know, I don't know what better way to put it, but like they're literally cleaning up they're literally cleaning house. He wanted them to drink healthy. He wanted them to drink like peasants. He's like, peasants drink water. The fine and the lavish, we drink that fine red wine. Yeah, he's definitely buttering them up. He knows what he's doing. I did like this as like a gif. I remember Winter, I saw that you posted this response. I forgot what response it was. Was it because I was like, oh yeah, I made like a tweet. I was like, I said I'm boycotting RWBY until they release the Volume 7 poster, and then Winter responded with this gif, like, still waiting for official Winter merch in the Rooster Teeth store. So yeah, I don't know, I just thought this is a great, like, gif for, like, any type of time, any moment when, like, you're pissed off or annoyed at something, or you're just patient, like, your patience is wearing thin. Yeah, because, like, as the more Jacques talked, the more annoyed and angry Winter was getting. And again, that, like, we never see Winter lose her composure. So when it happens, like, it's definitely a serious, like, a big deal, like a serious deal. So again, love Winter, and great GIF moment there. So this is where I'm gonna spend a little bit of time talking about this now. And so this is the gallery room that I was referring to earlier. And there's a bit of significance here with a few images. If you guys haven't seen it, I won't be able to read chat right now just because I actually, you know what? I'll move the chat box on my other monitor so I can, because I have to full screen OBS so I can, like, move it around like this so I can zoom in onto certain things that I want to showcase and talk to you guys about. So I guess we'll start on the right side first. Yeah, we'll start on this side first. So they have a manticore, like, it's not taxidermy because we know that those are fake because of Professor Peter Port likes to, like, tell little white lies about what he actually does and how he actually fights and kills, like, Grimm and stuff like that. But yeah, so they have, like, a taxidermied manticore. So this guy in red here is Nicholas Schnee, the grandfather of the grandfather of Winter, Whitley, and Weiss, and also the founder of the Schnee Dust Company. This is the guy that, you know, is in the World of Remnant for the Schnee Dust Company. I literally want to say that Weiss's main influence to become a huntress is because of her grandfather. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was, like, a big influential part of her life. And again, this goes back to the path of isolation, you know, that starting line. It starts with the unexpected loss of something dear. I wouldn't be surprised if that's her grandfather she's referring to. You know, it started with the one person who probably showed me any amount of affection, my grandfather, dying. You know, and once he died, everything kind of went to shit. You know, Winter left. You know, she became isolated in her own type of isolation that she's spoken of. Her father becomes the leader of the company, starts treating the mother terribly. You know, just all that kind of stuff as time has gone on. And first off, he looks dope as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, he's got the red scarf still, which is great. Again, I think that's a big part of, like, Weiss's Volume 6 outfit, like, attire. Like, the fact that she was wearing a red scarf during Volume 6. That reminded me of it potentially being her grandfather's, which would have been neat. And here's another thing, too. And so I'm going to go back really quick to the... hold on, let me see. Let me go back. I don't know if I capped it accordingly. Give me 1 second. Piano consistency. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this now. Okay, so this one right here. So if you look at this image, and then you look at, so obviously look at his armor, look at the helmet, and you can see very clearly that the armor that he's wearing is similar to the armor statues that you see throughout the house. And those armor statues are similar to the Armagigas armor that Weiss fought during her trailer, and the armor that she now summons. So in a way, it's kind of like she's summoning the armor of her grandfather to fight for her, instead of it just being some random Grimm that she killed in this one trial that she did when she was younger. Like, she's literally summoning the symbolism there is that she's summoning her grandfather to fight for her, or to fight by her side. That's super fucking badass. Like, that shit's dope as fuck. You know? And it's like, it's not like it's a grim, you know what I mean? It's not like just this feral thing. Like, it actually kneels to her. It has like its own type of personality and life to it when it fights. Like, that's literally her grandfather. So, yeah, I think that that's super cool. You know, it's not literally him, but it's the armor that represents him throughout the house and the armor that she defeated, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's how she felt about it when she summons it. Yeah, she basically summons Santa Claus. Yo, imagine that. Imagine talking about RWBY in the way of like the inspirations of them, right? Like, I don't know, like Snow White summoned Santa Claus to fight Cinderella at the fall of Beacon, or the fall of Haven, or the Battle of Haven. I don't know. It's just like, if you do if you just talk like that, like, you replace the characters with their source material, and it just gets really weird and just really interesting, I guess I should say. Oh man, Arnold, you're gonna make me cry with how poetic it is. Imagine summoning your badass Gramps, though. Hell yeah. Well, technically, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice does that, and that's also a pretty dope, badass moment. Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood stones Godzilla with her eyes in Volume 6. With the help of Thor, Goldilocks, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and the genie from Aladdin. Like, when you think about it, it's ridiculous. Like, the Tin Man has complete control over Pinocchio in this scene. You know, just talking about RWBY in that way is hilarious. But, hold on, let me get back to that other image. So, yeah, so essentially, she is, in fact, I think, I want to run that as canon. And, like, that's my head canon until it's confirmed. But Nicholas Schnee was a big part of Weiss's life, a big inspiration, a big influence in why she wants to, you know what I mean? Because she wants to live her life the same way her grandfather did. She wants to lead by being a huntress. She wants to help people in that way. She wants her being a huntress to impact how the company grows and expands, and its relationship with the people. You know, the same way that Nicholas Schnee developed the Schnee Dust Company and made public relations with other people by being out on the battlefield, out on the front lines with them. You know, like, you can't tell me otherwise. So that's my headcanon, and I'm sticking to it. Also, we have a picture of Weiss and her father from pre-Volume 1, most likely before she left for Beacon. We have Jacques before he started, like, his hair started going white. You know, probably from a combination. Yeah, most likely due to stress. We see the Schnee Dust Company. I assume that's the manor on the bottom left. And then the bottom right looks like an archive of sorts, like a giant library. I don't know if that's that's what it looks like to me. The bottom right image below Jacques' portrait looks like a giant library, like a circular library. I don't know if I can zoom in. I don't know if zooming in anymore is gonna fix that or anything, but yeah, they could essentially have like a giant like archive of like history and knowledge and all that stuff. Okay, and then the second side, which is very, very, very interesting. So starting at the top left, the vertical image, we have what looks to be a deity, a persona of some sort, wielding the staff of creation. Now, we already know that the relic of knowledge houses a being, that being Jinn. So I wonder, and again, this is a common theory amongst the community, that maybe each of the relics houses a being, houses a spirit, an entity. and the entity of the relic of that is the relic of knowledge's. I'm sorry, the relic of the staff of creation's entity. I'm saying persona as like a manifestation, if you will. You know, this because we saw the same statue of Jin holding up the balcony before, like, you know, like the statue that led down to the vault of the Spring Maiden in Volume 5, you know, and this is another staff of another being very similarly. I wouldn't be surprised if that could potentially be, you know, a way of getting to the vault besides it just being through the elevator. So, and it has like one wing, so I don't, actually it kind of looks like it has two wings. It might be the lighting that's throwing it off. But yeah, that's clearly the staff of I keep saying the staff. Yeah, the staff of creation. Okay, I'm getting the relics mixed up. I'm sorry. So that's clearly the staff of creation, and it's a figure of some sort with wings using it. So yeah, take that for what you will. That could very well be whatever being resides within it or alongside it, similar to Jin. Whitley can play the piano. That's no surprise. We saw the picture of that as well in Volume 4. Oh, so these are their wedding photos of Whitley. Of Willow and Jacques. They're looking at each other. Yeah, so those are their wedding photos. Okay. And then we have a taxidermied Beowulf. We have some images that look like the Schnee Dust Company, like mining facilities. And then an image that looks to be like the Kingdom of Atlas. Maybe that's the Schnee Dust Company itself on the bottom left. Is that sculpture the Beowulf that Winter killed and became her main summon? No clue. I mean, I don't think it's any more significant than this one, than the taxidermied Manticore, you know? But nonetheless, a lot of interesting little nuggets of information from the gallery room here. You know, Weiss and her father before she leaves for Beacon. You know, jolly old St. Nicholas Schnee. You know, the potential information on the relic and a being tethered to it. Their wedding photos and, you know, everything else in between. So this was really neat. I liked this little bit of just kind of looking at things more. I wasn't able to really catch a lot of these images when I was doing the reaction because it was just everything was happening so quickly and I didn't want to keep pausing during the video. So this is another heavy indicator. I didn't notice this during the reaction either. A lot of things you notice primarily during the second watch, but this waitress is walking away from where Weiss is walking to, essentially the mother. And I thought to myself in my head during this moment, I was like, why is there a waiter or a waitress here and not at the party where everybody else is? But then you see she's carrying 3 empty wine glasses. And we all know who likes drinking wine, or we all know who we've been told drinks wine. So Mama Schnee's been doing a lot of drinking, and that's not even including the fucking bottle of vodka that she downs when we actually see her. So 3 empty wine glasses being sent back, on top of a bottle of Six Swans vodka that she just starts drinking straight from the bottle itself. Like that's like peak alcoholism if I've ever seen it. Like at least Crow drinks from a fucking flask, right? Granted, I think he was starting to drink from some of the bottles at Brunswick Farms. And we finally got to see Mama Schnee after so long. It took us 7 volumes to see this woman. To see her, right? Not in a picture. First off, here's even more context. It took us 4 volumes to find out she even existed, because up until Volume 4, I thought Weiss's mom was dead because we never heard from her. We didn't even know Whitley existed. We didn't even know she had a brother either until Volume 4, right? So it took 4 volumes to realize her mother existed, and then it took an additional 3 volumes to actually see the mother, which is nuts. You know, this has been like a long time coming, but I guess at the end of the day, we could ultimately infer that the mother existed because Monty did leak. There was a leak that Monty did. Not, I don't think it was intentional, but there was a leak of Willow's folder. That's why over the years, a lot of people have been referring to Willow, to Mama Schnee as Willow Schnee, because the name Willow came up, and the W has always been like a constant theme for the Schnees, like at least the children, right? Willow, Winter, Whitley, Weiss. Jacques the exception because he married into the family. So yeah, I just thought, like, fuck, man, after, like, and this was my one expectation. Well, I had 3 expectations, but this is the only one that actually happened this chapter. So I was most definitely excited to see her. I wish it was under better circumstances, of course, because she's clearly been through a lot, and you know, there's only so much that there's only so much that she can bear in her current state, which is, again, a little unfortunate. Yeah, the Six Swans is a grim fairy tale. I did look that up. I am aware of that. Yankee Nova Hunt, thank you so much. I appreciate the insight and the super chat. Let's see. Six Swans is an important reference to a Brothers Grimm fairy tale that regards serious blackmail and depression. Yes. I will get to that because it is a part of the discussion for sure. Whitley's semblance is teleportation. Oh boy. I'm waiting for someone to have like a Nightcrawler semblance where they can just teleport. Or like, have any of you guys seen the movie Jumper? Like, I'd love for someone to have like a Jumper based semblance, like where they can jump to any locations that they've been to or that they like can see in their mind. That would be like, I always think of, like, when I think of semblances, I think of like X-Men mutant abilities. But yeah, because like Nightcrawler's mutant ability is kind of similar to that of Jumper, where he can just like poof into one spot and poof into the next spot. Not Jumper. I liked Jumper. All right, I'll die on that hill. Jumper and its spin-off show Impulse are both underrated. Oh, it does have a spin-off show? I didn't know that. I mean, Winter can't... I'm sorry, Raven doesn't technically teleport. She creates like a door. That's hardly teleporting. I like the movie Jumper a lot. I actually watched it like last year after like thinking about not seeing it for so long. All right, so moving on from there, we got a really wholesome moment, really good character I don't know about character development. It's just a character moment for both of them, because they're like two sides of the same coin. You know, two characters who play a big role in Ironwood's life, you know, being the left and right hand of him, like, right, his secret weapon, his right hand woman, or his right hand lieutenant or person, his right hand, let's just say that, right? The best of the best, like one of his best. And both of them conflicted with themselves for different reasons that aren't exactly exclusive, right? You have a robot who feels and expresses herself as if she were human, as if she had a heart. You know, she's conflicted with all of the things that have happened as of late, scared, afraid, also looked down upon, you know, for people like you know what I mean? Like, man, like Penny, like has to be talked down to and like demoralized by Jacques. And then that has to be reinforced to Ironwood, where he's like, Penny is in my complete control, as if she has no as if she has no agency herself, right? He's always telling her, you don't have time for friends, and you know, like you don't have time for a team, you don't have time for friends, and he kind of treats Penny more like a tool than he does an actual person, which is really upsetting, you know. And that goes all the way back to the fall of Beacon. That's the whole reason why she was there, to test herself, to see how good she could fare at saving the world in the long term. You know, it's very true that Ironwood struggles with empathizing or just having like humanity within himself, because He's an inspiration of someone who lacks a heart. And even the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz, at least the one that I know of, it was always, you know, they wish they had a heart, but they still expressed themselves as if they did have one. But Ironwood, like, they're kind of pushing the envelope with Ironwood being like, hey, this guy treats people as, like, he treats people with the best of intentions, but at the end of the day, not the most empathetic to the decisions that he makes and how other people feel about it, you know? When's the last time he asked Penny how she felt about something, or Winter how she felt about something, or anybody? And again, tough call to make. It's really easy for me to say that because I'm not in his shoes. I've never been in his shoes like that, to be someone who has to make the tough calls and has to hurt feelings and stuff like that, and has to be strict and harsh. But that's just how it is. And then you look at Penny's scenario and how I just explained that, and then look at it from Winter's perspective, someone who is human, someone who has a heart, someone who has emotions and feelings and expressed them in this way, but immediately regrets it, wishes that she hadn't done that, wishes that she had just fallen in line, wishes that she didn't speak what was on her mind or speak from the heart. You know, she's essentially the opposite of, you know what I mean? Like, they express what the other lacks. You know, and Penny just says it. She's like, I thought what you said sounded perfectly normal. You know, you were just speaking from the heart. And she's like, well, I shouldn't have. I should have just stayed in line. You know, and she kind of gave in to Jacques. You know what I mean? Like, she won the battle but lost the war. You know, I do, you know, it's normal to do that. It's normal to express yourself, but again, it just falls harder on Winter because, you know, she feels like she lost because of that, you know. But at the end of the day, that just proves that you're human. You're more human than your father is. You care. You have emotions and you express them. Jacques only cares about winning. He doesn't care about anyone but himself, you know. Dan, thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. Calling it a night. Have a happy end of the new year, guys. Peace. Thank you so much, bud. You as well. I hope to see you in 2020. Looking forward to the videos as always. And thanks for stopping by, man. Thank you for the support. Yeah, I do like the dynamic between these two because they come from drastically different lives. You know, they have drastically different lives currently. They've come from drastically different lives from their past. But, like, they can easily understand each other in that way. You know, granted, Penny was like, never mind, I guess I don't understand. But it's just, she doesn't understand because as someone who has a soul, she at the very least can understand, like, she at the very least understands, like, hey, if you have a heart, if you have feelings, you're meant to express that. You're meant to feel those things. You're not meant to bottle it up and treat yourself or act like you're some type of machine when you're not. So, in short, I loved this moment. I loved the parallels that they're showing between these two. Penny being very robotic, you know, being a robot but expressing humanity, and Winter being a human, having a heart but wanting to be more closed off and I don't know, I guess more calculated or just more robotic in how she presents herself so she doesn't lose control. This was probably, I honestly want to say this was probably my favorite scene of the episode, to be quite honest. Like, when I look at it now, like when I look at it like beyond my initial reaction, I think this was my favorite scene. Stoic, thank you, Winter. You know, you always know the right things to say. I clearly don't. Yeah, you know, she prefers to be stoic rather than expressive because, you know, she feels like she'll fail otherwise, you know, especially in regards to her father. So, yeah, I really, like, it's clearly, it's a tie. Honestly, I think it's a tie. I think this scene and Weiss and Willow. Like, Weiss and Willow was so powerful, man. For obvious reasons, but, like, damn. But yeah, I just really, really liked this moment. The OG Tin Man was once a man. A cursed axe chopped away everything that was the human about him, figuratively and oh boy. Hey, I mean, I guess that's kind of what happened to Ironwood too, because he's partially robot. We don't know how he got that way, but you know, the inspiration seems to be there as well. But yeah, I do like that the high priest funeral. What you said: the lion gives into his cowardice, the Tin Man loses his heart, the Scarecrow loses his wit, and Dorothy will not go home. Ozpin's 4 lieutenants' illusions appear to be failures from the novel. That sounds very accurate. Or it seems like it's building to be accurate, you know, because even now Ironwood's very empathetic to everything. You know, things are happening around him and he's just fine with it. He's like, that's fine. There are bigger fish to fry. Who cares? Who cares how the people of Mantle feel? Who cares about their feelings? Who cares about how Penny feels about certain things? She's a tool, you know? Now, he's not actively saying that, but his actions are speaking for him, you know? We haven't met the Scarecrow yet. Well, technically, Crow's the Scarecrow. You know, they've confirmed that he is the Scarecrow based on that, and it makes sense, too, because most of the people appointed by Ozpin are the references of the Wizard of Oz. So, yeah. And we already know the headmaster of Vacuo. His name's Theodore... I forgot his last name. His name's Theodore something. Or something Theodore. We don't know his inspiration just yet. Some people think it's... There's theories, but we don't know it yet. Theodore Rumpel. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, people think it's Dorothy. Like Theodorothy. But yeah, we don't know yet. I still think Ruby or even Summer. I think it would be perfect for Ruby to be Dorothy because Zwei would be Toto. Either Ruby's Dorothy or Summer Rose is Dorothy because they're spitting images of each other. And Zwei would be their dog, which would be Toto. So yeah, it's one of them too. Ruby Rose also, glass slippers. Ruby Slippers. Ruby Rose, that's her name. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Ruby is a reference to Dorothy. You know? And she's off to see the wizard, the wonderful, you know, Wizard of Oz, Ozpin. She's following in his footsteps. Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. She's most definitely Ruby. All right, so moving on from there, we have the office room. I liked this shot here. I really can't put my finger on why. Maybe it's just the placement of these two characters, polar opposite side of the room, a darkened part, a lit up part from the lamp. But yeah, I just liked this. She says mom for the first time. I loved that. I loved hearing her say mom, you know? And I don't know. It was just really wholesome to just see finally, like the final mother of Team RWBY we're seeing. Well, with the exception of Summer, but we all know why. Yeah, Willow is gorgeous, man. Jacques a fucking idiot, dude. Jacques is absolutely stupid. Like, how you gonna say you only married this woman for the name, for the company name? Like, this woman, and I'm not just saying like just solely based on her looks, but like I could picture her being like, if she wasn't with Jacques, a fantastic person, you know, gorgeous, a good mother to her kid. Like even now, even when she's like down in the dumps as she is now, she still wants the best for her kids. Like that's a great mom. You know, she kind of gave up, you know what I mean? Like she essentially gave up herself. She gave up wanting what's best for her, but not giving up wanting what's best for her kids and wanting her kids to look after each other. And as a parent, that's probably the best thing you'd want. Like that's the number one thing you'd want as a parent. You know, I'm not a parent myself, but I would say like being, you know, someone who like was born and raised by my parents. My parents are clearly like my initial blueprint of what a parent is, wanting what's best for your kid. Even, you know what I mean? Like, what do all parents want? They want their kids to have a better life than they had. You know, she's going through a mental, physical, abusive relationship of someone who doesn't care about her, uses and manipulates her for his gain, but she doesn't want her kids to be in that environment either. You know? And, yeah, she also looks way younger than she does in her portrait. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that, but yeah, like, first off, she looks way younger than I thought she'd look. She's absolutely beautiful. Obviously you can tell where the kids get their look from, like white hair, blue eyes. You know, you can see it in Weiss right now. You can see it in Winter. Whitley is kind of like a parallel. It's like a combination of the father and the mother. You know, the white hair, blue eyes, but then he's a boy, so he looks more like he takes more after like the father in that regard. Those dominant genes though. Yeah, I mean, the Schnee bloodline, like they're all summoners. They can all summon. They all have glyphs. It makes sense. Willow should meet Jean. Well, see, that's the thing. When they first were talking about thirsty moms, I thought they were talking about Willow, because I was like, she's a mom. I thought thirsty could imply two things. It could imply that she's an alcoholic, so she drinks a lot, thirsty, and also like thirsty in the sense of like she's just like she's outwardly expressive of the opposite sex. So, and I also thought it would work for Jean, because it's like Jean tried going for Weiss in volume 1 and 2 and it didn't work out. So I thought, like, what would that mean if it was Weiss's mom, you know? But they took the high road. They were like, Arnold, we're not about that. We're not about that fucking low class level of thinking you got there. We're sophisticated individuals here at Rooster Teeth. We got bigger plans for Mama Schnee, and I'm really happy they went that route. No, it's an adjustment bureau semblance. Doors to anywhere. Open closets in Vale, land and bathroom in Atlas. I mean, as long as someone's there for her portal to like make the trek. The lighting is a storytelling element called, I'm not even going to say that because I don't know how to say that. Literally dark light. It showcases the difference between the characters portrayed. Interesting. I think that's why I like it so much. Because I literally mentioned that. I was like, one side's dark, one side's light. They're like spitting images practically of each other, you know? Except Willow is in the dark and Weiss, I would say, is in the light. But maybe it's inversed to their current situations. Raven, Summer, Kali, and Willow, which mother is waifu material for you? Oh boy. I'm glad they didn't do that to Will. Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, I was kind of memeing for the most part. Like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I hope Willow's is a thirsty mom. Like I wanted to just see her, and I just tried putting that together. They clearly went the route with the thirsty moms in that way. But I far more appreciate seeing Willow getting so much out of her in not the most open of ways, you know? They basically tell you so much without saying much, right? The implications are all there. You know, the cameras, the drinking, the I'm not feeling so well. Like, a lot was said without her outwardly telling her daughter what's going on, because Weiss would know what's going on. She's lived in this house, you know, so for the audience, for the viewer, we can easily put that together. But yeah, I was surprised by one thing though. When she mentioned, she was like, you left. That's right, you left. And I don't know if Jacques was telling the truth when he said like Willow was upset. She's like, your mother was upset when you left. It didn't leave her room for days. You know how she gets when she's upset. But she seemed almost happy by the fact that Weiss said she wasn't staying. You know, initially she left for Beacon. So this technically isn't the first time she's quote unquote left. But then for her to come back home and then leave again, maybe that also had more of an impact of like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing my daughter for the first time since she's left for school, and now she's gone again. So, no, I know she was relieved. Willow is relieved that Weiss isn't staying. But I wonder if Jacques lied to Weiss then. Because in that episode, a couple episodes back, he told Weiss that Willow was upset that she left. So, yeah, I mean, Jacques probably lying to the viewers too, god damn it. Yeah, so she was happy all along. Also, I gotta give a quick shout out here because this is very, very appropriate. Also, it's appropriate to the fact that you guys are talking about it in chat before I got to it. Yeah, he was manipulating her. Fuck Jacques, dude. I'm so happy that she wasn't actually upset. But we officially have the moms of RWBY. Finally, we have the group. The group's all here. I think this is the official team. SWKR. Have fun figuring out a word for that acronym. Team Skewer? Would that... Yeah, team... No, the W goes before the R. God damn it, I'm stupid. Team Screw? Oh, God. Wait, would Skewer work? Wait, would it work? No, because the W goes before the R. No, that wouldn't work. Team Soccer? Soccer moms? Yes! Team Soccer. Team Soccer moms. It has to be that. It has to be that. Team Soccer Moms 2019. Summer Rose, Willow Schnee, Kali Belladonna, and then Raven Bronwyn. Like God, like your last name couldn't be Xiaolong. It couldn't be Raven Xiaolong. That would have worked so well. Like you have like no lineage to your daughter. Like even in her name's after her dad. Yeah, Team Soccer Moms. I won't accept anything else. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Hey, I'm sorry about the late response. EDH player just popping in to say 3 things. 1, Jacques led everyone in that meeting into the palm of his hands. 2, Willow is much sadder in person. And 3rd, Watts is clearly entering the final stages of the plan. Oh yeah. Great 3 points. Thank you for the donation, buddy. Technically, the letters don't have to go in order. I know. SKW SWK. Yeah, I guess it has to sound. It can sound the same. Yeah, so Team Skewer can work. I just like Team Soccer with, and then in parentheses moms. So Team Soccer moms. You can also use their last names, so we can get really creative here. First names are not exclusive. All right, you can use their first names or their last names. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to do some homework right now, and not right now, but like later tonight, and I'll come up with something more definitive, but I still like Team Soccer Moms. And what's even cooler about this is that, look at that. Look at this. Spitting images. Literally spitting images of their parents. Like Summer, like RWBY and Yang look just like their moms. Like Weiss kind of does too, but like, change Yang's hair, change Raven's hair color to blonde, and she would literally look like Yang with her semblance activated all the time. RWBY, spinning image when she's older. You know, Blake cut her hair, so Blake looks more like her mom now. And Weiss just looks like a more happier, healthier version of her mom. So yeah, big fan of this. Hold on, let's put these side by side so we can actually see them in a better light. All right, there we go. Team RWBY and Team Soccer Moms. So badass. Look at that. They look so similar. We finally got the main moms of Team RWBY. I should have done the dads too. I can't actually I literally don't want to do a dad version just because of Jacques. Also because Tai Yang would take up 2 images. So it would be Tai Yang, Jacques Schnee, Gira Belladonna, and then Tai Yang again. Actually, you know what? I should just put all 4 of them Tai Yang. It's like every team. Or entire team. There you go. People still think Crow's RWBY's real dad. No. The writers already deconfirmed that. They already said he's the uncle. Tai Yang is my father? Okay, let's move on. But yeah, overall, really happy to see the moms of RWBY officially showcased, all 4 of them with Willow Schnee this volume. Hopefully we see more of all of them. You know, Summer Rose especially. Still waiting for that Team Stark flashback, RWBY. I know you guys are going to do it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Mama Schnee, I hope we see Mama Schnee again. I really do. Because I'd feel very upset if we got to see her for the first time now, and then like after Atlas arc's done and over with, we don't see her again. I just don't know. I'm excited about seeing all the moms. Willow Schnee is adorable. Willow Schnee is beautiful. They all are. Like, I mean, I was almost about to say they're great. They're all great moms, but, you know, some are better than others, but, you know. It was the first and only. Yeah, didn't the comic book recently showcase Willow? Apparently, she's a lot different in it. I haven't read any of the comics yet, by the way. I own all of them. They're, like, over there. But I think I'm going to wait until, like, Volume 7's over. And I might, like, do individual videos of my take on them after I read them. Oh, Raven. Oh, Raven. See, that's another thing, too. Like, these moms each showcase a different part of, like, parenting in general, right? The loss of, like, growing up without a parent, you know, growing up with a parent who might be you know, who's experienced abuse or has experienced substance abuse even, like, you know, like Willow with being in a domestic relationship with Jacques or being an alcoholic. Callie is probably the definition of, like a wholesome parent who, like, believes in their child, wants what's best for them, lets them, you know, spread their own wings. And then Raven is also the type of parent who is the one who abandons their kids. So, like, I feel like the moms of RWBY also represent, and that's crazy. I didn't even stop and think about that until just now. Each of these moms also represents, like, a real part of, like, parenting in real life. And they all come from different backgrounds because of that. You know, just a minute, look at that. Just look at that. Like, just look at, like, these 4 girls. You know, Ruby Weiss, Blake Yang, how they started, how they have developed, who they are now, based on the parents that raised them, like I was talking about earlier. But yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting to think about stuff like that, like beyond the show, or rather, a real world, like, lesson that's within the show. Not lesson, I don't think it's a lesson, just a real world parallel, I guess, that's within the show. You know, the parents. But yeah. For a second, I thought you said some are better than others. Oh no, some are better than others, not some are better than others. That's so Raven. Oh God. Tai Yang was the mom. Nah. Summer was super mom. Baker of cookies and slayer of giant monsters. Shout out to Team RWBY being like their moms, being better than their moms in some cases. Shout out to Team Soccer Moms being the best moms they can be. Some better than others. Moving on from there. This was sad. This was such a sad moment. I thought she was doing that to spite what Weiss just said to her. You know, based on the way she was looking at her. You know, she was like, well, some of us are trying to do something about it. And then she, like, gave her this look. But then after she, like, took the drink, she saw how Weiss reacted, and she probably felt bad for doing that. You know? And, it again, I can't really blame her. I can't really say that it's her fault. Like, it's just, this is, like, her life. And, but yeah, again, another thing that you can, like, remember from this moment, or you can apply from this moment, like, especially with how Weiss reacts to how her mother's just, like just fucking drinking, like, downing a bottle of vodka. Like, that's peak alcoholism, by the way. Is the fact of, like, this is literally, like, Crow and his family, or the people that are in his life. You know, she's dealt with alcoholism, like, people, like, alcoholism, people affected by it in her life, similar to how most likely RWBY, Tai, Summer, Raven have dealt with it with Crow in the past, especially in the more recent past. You know, Volume 6 is a big indicator of that. And this also probably can put into perspective for some people who remember how she reacted to them dealing with Brunswick Farms, how she took all the alcohol off of the shelves and was just throwing them. Granted, yeah, she was using it to start a fire, but she probably didn't like to see Crow in that way because it can easily remind her of her mother. You know? So, yeah, Weiss in the Bottle shows how alcoholism distorts your vision of others. Yeah, that was also yeah, actually that's perfect. It was a nice camera decision too. You know, she probably wasn't realizing what she was doing by doing that in front of her kid. And so, you know, it's... And another thing that was really upsetting too is that, like, her mom Willow was like, oh, I'm not going to go down. I'm not feeling well. And Weiss was just like, it's fine. She's like, it's okay, Mom. It's fine. I never stopped to think about it, but I used to say it's fine a lot with things that I didn't have control over. It's not that I wasn't fine with it. It was just the fact of, like, I couldn't do anything about it. So I always used to just... I like, when she said that, I'm just like, this is clearly a situation that she's obviously not fine with, but she has to accept it because there's only so much she can do. And thinking about it for myself, there were a lot of things or just situations or instances in my life too where I can remember thinking and feeling like it's fine, or someone says, oh, Arnold, like, I'm sorry for this, or, you know, just something that's out of your control happens and you just have to be fine with it. And I don't know, just thinking about it now, I wonder if that kind of makes you numb to certain things like that happening, because, like, the more they happen, the more you're just fine with it, because it's just like it becomes a common thing that always happens. And so I don't know, that when she said it's fine, like, and I'm not even talking about, like, the fine meme, like Blake, like, oh, it's fine, like the apathy. I mean, like, straight up, like, you have to be, like, empathetically fine to the fact that someone is hurting themselves like this, because you really, what's the saying? Like, you can't help, like, what's the saying? You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves, or if they don't take the help. So all you can do is just really be a bystander. So yeah, I don't know. That took me somewhere. I'll be honest with you. That took me somewhere for sure. But yeah, this is a really like relatable thing, you know, and I think they did a good job with at least showcasing not only how it is for the person putting them like that's going through it like Willow, but also like the damage it causes to a family like Weiss, like Willow, like Whitley, and how much worse it can be when the dynamic of the relationship isn't good to begin with, like, you know, with Willow and Jacques. Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah, I guess that's the follow. That's the best one that I can think of. There was one that I was thinking of, but I fucked up the wording, so I don't remember exactly what it was. But it was basically like you can't help someone who won't take the help. But yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Another thing from the follow-up scene here is that if you see, she's drinking a bottle of Six Swans vodka. So first off, she's chugging vodka. Not good. Like, no after effect, no burning. Like, that's like I said, that's like next level alcoholism. But Six Swans is somewhat relevant to like the whole RWBY motif, because everything in RWBY is a reference. It's a reference of something that's then emulated from that. And Six Swans is a folk tale collected by the Brothers Grimm. And hold on, I have an excerpt from it because I actually had to look this up and do the research myself just to make sure that I actually knew what I was talking about. So, the Six Swans is a German fairy tale collected by the Brothers Grimm as tale number 49. Andrew Lang includes a variant of In the Yellow fairy book. So, this book, or this fairy tale, is essentially about a princess who has to has to essentially save her family in secrecy and in silence. There's obviously more, like, I guess that's just kind of like the general synopsis. You know, there's Six Swans related to the princess, her brothers, who get bewitched, and she has to, in order to save them, she has to go through a life of like creating these specific shirts for each one of them, but she can't talk for 6 years while she does it, which is very interesting because it's taken 6.5 years for us to get Willow Schnee since the show has started, and we're hearing her for the first time this volume. But I guess in a way, it like the princess's main goal is to save her family, and she can only do it through like she can do it, but she can't tell it. Like, she has to do it in silence. And in this way, Willow, like, straight up, Willow Schnee is the reason the group will hopefully or inevitably take down Arthur Watts. If it wasn't for Willow, they would not know who Watts is at this. Like, no progress would have been made this chapter. And the fact that, and it's a little messed up, you know, but the fact that she had to put cameras in her house in fear of her safety, of her family's safety, you know, if Jacques is actually being like physically abusive beyond just being emotionally and manipulatively abusive. You know, I mean, yeah, he is he is physically abusive because he fucking slapped Weiss in volume 4. You know, no hesitation, just slapped her. You know, and who knows what else he's done? You know, to Willow, to Whitley, to Winter even before she left. You know, so I like how the Six Swans at the very least showcases, again, Willow seems to just be content. Here's another thing too. You want to hear something like fucking crazy? You want to hear something like absolutely like mind-blowing? This required a bit of research, and this is something that I discovered yesterday. The 4 Fs. Does anyone know what the 4 Fs are? The 4 Fs of trauma. I'll tell you. The Schnee family are the 4 Fs of trauma. I'm going to go to something really quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. I bookmarked it, so I would remember where to find it. So the 4 F's of trauma are flight, fight, fawn, and freeze. So in that order, it would be Weiss is flight, Winter is fight, Whitley is fawn, Willow is freeze. And this is basically the, I guess the, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess the archetype? I don't know what the word is, but this is basically the classifications of these 4 characters in the life that they're in with Jacques. So this is Weiss here. Weiss is flight, and flight is responds to abuse by constantly attempting to escape it, devolves into self-repeating perfectionism in the belief that it will prevent future abuse, obsessed with either geographical escape or forcibly recovering instantaneously to escape in continual constant torture. So responds to abuse by constantly attempting to escape. She wants to go to Beacon Academy. She gets sent back home. She wants to leave again, you know, and she ends up escaping again, and now she's back home again. That's Winter, not Weiss. Is Winter flight? Winter doesn't constantly leave, though. Like, Winter, like, was one and done. Like, she got out of there. Weiss is flight. I think, well, okay, let me preface this. This is my interpretation. All right? I think flight is better suited for Weiss based on that. Devolves into self-repeating perfectionism in the belief that it will prevent future abuse. What does Winter say to Weiss in the Volume 5 character short? Well, first off, she messes up. She was like, "I'm sorry, I'll get better. You'll have to if you ever want to leave." So again, repeating perfectionism, so she needs to be perfect in order to prove that she can leave. Obsessed with either geographical escape or forcibly recovering instantaneously to escape. So basically, she leaves, she gets brought back. She leaves again, she gets brought back. I think that is Weiss. I 100% feel in my heart that flight is Weiss. Obviously, you guys are free to believe or free to interpret it however you will. Fight, I believe, is Winter. Now, fight is, so this is for my interpretation for Winter, responds to abuse with anger and aggressiveness because it is the only thing that appears to give control in a family dynamic. Responds to anything that resembles attack with cruelty and defensiveness and attempts to... actually, you know what? This might actually be Jacques. I take that back. This might actually be Jacques. Responds to... I don't know if it's... But he wouldn't respond to abuse. He would respond to defiance. But anyways, responds to abuse with anger and aggressiveness because it is the only thing that appears to give control in family dynamic. Responds to anything that resembles attack with cruelty and defensiveness and attempts to manipulate with intimidation and disdain before others can manipulate them. Now, that sounds more like Jacques to me. The only reason I associated it with Winter was because it says responds with aggressiveness and anger because it's the only thing that gives them control. And it was from this episode where like she was just dealing with it, and then she just went off on Jacques. You know, she went off in anger, and she even mentioned she was like she thought she was in control, but in the end she still wasn't. You know, the things just still got to her. So that's why I feel like this can partially be associated with Jacques to an extent and Winter. Not wholly. Like, I don't think either of these characters can, like, solely identify with fight. Because they're, like, butting heads with each other. So, the third one would be Fawn. And I think this one would be Whitley. So, for Whitley, it says, Fawn responds to abuse by attempting to become the perfect victim in the hopes of being less hated and less mistreated in exchange for cooperating. Turns off all personal desires, boundaries, traits, and emotions, tries to become exactly what the abuser wants, continues this set of interpersonal rules even with non-abusive outsiders. That is 100, 1,000, a million % Whitley. Like, Whitley is the victim of Jock, right? Eruption Fang called that shit 2 years out. And it's very, like, he even says it, like, it's foolish not to do as father asks, right? It's foolish not to do as he asks because he's the abuser. So I'm going to give in to whatever he wants. I'm going to be the perfect specimen for him. I'll be a mini Jacques if that's what he needs me to be, if that's what he wants me to be. And I will continue these behaviors beyond just Jacques. I will continue to treat my sisters like crap. I'll continue to distance myself from my mother, and I'll just be exactly what he wants. Whitley has no identity. Whitley has no type of agency. We don't know who Whitley Schnee is. We know who Whitley Schnee, like, we know the Whitley Schnee that Jacques wants him to be. So that's, like, scary. That's, like, really scary. Turns off all personal desires. We don't know what Whitley wants, like, what he wants to be in life. Boundaries, traits, and emotions. He's just a smug kid. I was gonna say something else, but again, not his fault. To become exactly what the abuser wants, like a mini Jacques. And fucking Watts of all people even identified it. He was like, you know, he's like, your son is, you know, this young one over here looks just like, you know, takes just after you. Creepily so, I might add. You know, he's adopted your effect. So the fawn is definitely Whitley. And then Freeze would be Willow. And for Willow, it says, Freeze responds to abuser by attempting by any means to dull or numb it, shuts down mentally, tunes everything that is said or done out, drowns it out with electronics or isolation or addictions, prefers being disconnected and unaware to actively living. Drinking to forget things, not being around people socially, you know, not being around the dinner parties or the people, not feeling so well, drinking constantly, to numb everything, to dull the pain, to numb it, to forget, being disconnected. Again, it says electronics, isolation, or addiction. So in this case, alcohol abuse. Yeah, Fawn and Freeze are clear-cut. Fight and Flight are up for debate. It depends on your perspective. But yeah, I think Flight, again, my personal perspective on it would be Flight is Weiss, Fight partially Winter, partially Jacques, Fawn 100% Whitley, Freeze 100% Willow. And yeah, those are the 4 Fs of trauma that seem to be associated with the Schnee family, which is pretty messed up. That, like, their entire family is, like, based on trauma. A spinning image of you, this lad. Creepily so, I might add. Thank you. I'm so bad with... I haven't, like, memorized this volume, like, to a T. I feel like I could state the entire, like, script, the entire, like, RWBY series from, like, volume 1 through 4, like, verbatim. But, like, volume 7, I'm slipping up here and there. Let's see. Let's read off some of the comments here, just because I know a lot of you guys were voicing your opinions on this. All right, a lot of personal opinions on who's fight, who's flight. Let's see. Weiss's Winter's perfection personified. I think it's the exact same way. Yeah, so basically you guys are coming to your conclusions on which is which. Again, like I said, as long as it's done respectfully, as long as it's done, you know, I'm not here stating this is definitive. This is, I mean, it's a live stream discussion. It's a discussion, you know, and no one answer is, I guess, right unless it's stated by the writers. Regardless, both sisters had to fight and flight. Yeah, had fled and fought. So, but I just think when it comes to like the manipulation, the defensiveness, the aggressiveness, that's also Jacques. Jacques fights back with his kids to keep control in his hands. So Jacques even applies to this because he is the abuser. So yeah, I think that can definitely be that can apply to him as well to an extent. Too much too much fight or flight spams. Yeah. But Jacques is the abuser. Yeah, I get that, but when I read that, like, no one in this family dynamic, with the exception of Jacques, has ever really responded, like, again, responds with anger or aggressiveness, responds to anything that resembles attack with cruelty, and defensiveness, and attempts to manipulate with intimidation and disdain. Like, that's no one else but Jacques. No one else fits that bill like him. That's why I think fight can still apply to him, even if he's also the abuser. Because they become like their abuser, I guess, in a way. I don't know. It's hard to put. It's hard, like, if I don't know if this is like definitively like what it stands for or what it means, but yeah, Jacques' the only one that's ever been manipulative or intimidating in that regard. Arnold, what's the orange plushie next to Crow behind you? What character is that supposed to be? You know me too well. It's your old pal, Penny Paulandina. I bought this on the Rooster Teeth store like a month ago. It's hard to see because everything's blurred out in the background, but yeah, they were like, hey, Arnold, look what we have in the store, and I was like, you got me, Rooster Teeth. You got me. Yeah, it's a Penny plush. She's got a big head, though. And it's also like the Beacon Penny. I wish it was the Volume 7 one. But yeah, the Crow plushie was made for me by a friend. That plushie right there is Elle from Death Note. The plushie right here that's a Shadow Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. And then that's a Link from, I don't know which Link that is, but that's Link from Legend of Zelda, one of the games. I haven't played Legend of Zelda. That was a gift from a friend. So, yeah. Penny Paulandina. Penny for your thoughts. Oh my god. Like, so I have to, like, sit her, like, sitting, like, up against, like, my manga because, like, she's top heavy, clearly, for obvious reasons. Is that Wind Waker, Link? I don't know. Can you tell me? Hold on. Can you see it? Hold on. Let me know. Can you see it better? You should probably see it better now. I think that is Wind Waker. Isn't there another one that he looks like that? Like one of the Game Boy games? Yeah, it's Wind Waker, Link. Okay. Appreciate it. Okay. Oh, see, now I'm like, I moved my camera once, and now I feel like it's messed up forever. Okay, it's Wind Waker. I've never played Wind Waker. Again, my friend, yeah, Toon Link. Yeah, it's Toon Link. My friend Anthony got me that, and I've never played. I've only played Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time, so I have a lot of catching up to do. But with all that said, just wanted to take you guys down the road of the F's of trauma, just to kind of apply that to the Schnees. Now I got to give you guys the bad news. Like the scary bad news. Willow Schnee might die. And if you're a longtime fan of anime, you know why. I swear to God, I'm not joking. Like, I'm seriously not joking. Hey, it's me again, but I gotta go. Shadow Wolf! Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Seriously, happy holidays. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's because of her hair. And I'll tell you why. So this is Willow Schnee. Beautiful, gorgeous woman. I love... So here's the blessing and the curse. I love this hairstyle. Like, I love the hair tied up like to one side of the shoulder. That's like, I don't know, I'm a big fan of that hairstyle. Let me just leave it at that. However, it is traditional. This is a tradition. This is like a thing in anime, and right, RWBY's like the RWBY's like it's considered an anime by many people, right? It is customary that if you have this hairstyle, you die in the show that you're in, right? I don't know who all these ladies are. The only ones that I know is Trisha Elric from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Carla Yeager from Attack on Titan. Spoilers, by the way, all of these women die in the shows that they're in. And these are only the ones that I found. This is the only these are the only ones that I know of that I found. If you have this hairstyle in a form of animation media, that character dies. And Rooster Teeth aren't stupid. Miles and Carrie have seen Full Metal Alchemist. Miles and Carrie have seen Attack on Titan. Like, they know anime. They have a fucking anime podcast. It's called Fan Service. Like, they know what they're doing when they make Willow look like with this hairstyle. Like, that's literally the vibes you're giving off to this character with that hair in this show. That's considered and regarded as like a animation, anime, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think it's just a trope. It's a trope that unless they're gonna avoid it, unless they're just gonna do it. Yeah, she's also voiced by the voice actress who does Winry Rockbell from Full Metal, which is crazy because then that means we've had Edward, Alphonse, and Winry in this show at a given point voice acting, which that's even crazier. Like, Rooster Teeth is practically in bed with Funimation at this point, you know. But yeah, I'm sorry. Someone helped me. It's the hair tie on one side. Time to drop the show. Oh my god. Oh, but like you see, like you're seeing the character for the first time. They die. You drop the show. Oh boy. Well, they almost had Weiss like that. They gave her a ponytail, but it was off to the. It was like off center. But it wasn't like over her shoulder. Like Mama Schnee is she's got a like, that's the thing too. Not even relevant to the plot. She already has a death flag because of her hairstyle. Like, it's that prominent in anime and animation. Yeah, Rooster Teeth is in bed with Funimation. Practically, they have like a lot of Funimation voice actors and actresses. But yeah, I just wanted to, again, this isn't even something that I'm willing into existence. Like, this is like an anime thing. And if it happens, you can blame Miles and Carrie for that. Another thing, too, to consider. Okay, so let's just go down this road really quick, all right? If Willow dies, most likely will have something to do with the fact that she leaked who Watts was. I'm sorry, I'm looking over there because my headset's about to die and it's like beeping, so I'm just seeing. It's fine if it dies, I don't give a shit. But she essentially leaked who Watts is. And so that's accountability. Like, she's accountable for that if they find out. If Jacques finds out, if Watts finds out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jacques before Watts that finds that out. And I'm just wondering, like, would Jacques kill his wife? That would be fucking dark if it went that far. But I don't know. I don't know. But, like, that's the only thing that I can think of that would justify having that. Because if she's painted as, like, hey, death hairstyle, she's going to die, then the next plausible thing is, like, how would she die? And if she just leaked the villain's plan, like, just put her husband on blast, just expose Arthur Watts, and Jacques finds out, and he gets in trouble because of everything, that is because of her putting cameras in the house, and if he finds out about the cameras, I can picture him, like, even losing it beyond just... I could see him, like, killing her because of that. Definitely. I can easily... Like, I don't want to say I can easily see that, but... Given how far he's gone as of right now, I think that would literally push him over the edge to do that. Or to set up her dying. Like, having Tyrion put a hit on his wife and blaming Ironwood for it or something. Or Penny or something. Yeah, because he already says he doesn't care about her. He's got the family name. If she, whatever happens to her at this point doesn't matter. But, yo, Willow should, I wonder if Willow knows how to summon. I wonder if Willow knows how to summon. Because she's a Schnee. You know, but she's clearly not, like, she isn't a business person. She doesn't seem like a huntress or... like a competent fighter, so to speak. That's similar to, like, saying Whitley could summon. He has it in his blood to be able to, but that doesn't mean he's able to channel it. Oh, she's a horse rider in the comics. Oh, I take that back then. Oh, that's fucking sick. Maybe she was in like her young days, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, if she's the daughter of Nicholas Schnee, I don't see why she wouldn't have some form of formal training. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's not as strong as she used to be, but she probably still has some, you know, she's, you know, it's like you teach an old dog you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but, like, she still has all those tricks up her sleeve. Yeah. Alcohol poisoning. He can easily make it look like an accident or like a natural cause, like the cause of death. Well, she's known to drink a lot and she drank a little too much now. Yeah, or he could set it up to where that would happen too.
Calm down. We're not.
Don't tell me to calm down, Torchwick. Watch Willow have some super OP like she literally summons her father. Like she has the summon of Nicholas Schnee. Naturally, a Schnee would be into Equestria. Yeah, no doubt. It's one of the many things the fancy folk do. Fencing, Equestria, what else? Wine testing, like wine tasting. I don't know what rich, fancy, hoity-toity people do. That's like the three things that I remember seeing in a James Bond movie. Like they fenced, there was Equestria that they did, like ride equestrian, and there was like a wine tasting thing that they did also. I expect someone in the Schnee family to die by the end of Volume 8. It's either gonna be Winter when she becomes the mate, if she becomes the maiden. It's gonna be Mama Schnee for leaking the villain's information. It's got to be one of those two. It's got to be Willow or Winter at this point. Or Jacques. I can picture one of them three dying by the end of this, by the end of the Atlas arc. Like by the time they're ready to move on to Vacuo, I can picture, I can see one of them dying. Yeah, I think I can see one of them dying. Oh my God, William! Fencing, piano, violin, equestria, polo. Okay. Wow. That's crazy that you just already, like, you just know. I mean, you're accurate with all of those for sure. We also saw the piano with Whitley earlier. Just wanted to drop this before my break ends. Hope you had a nice Christmas, and I hope you have a splendid New Year. Also, congratulations on your 100,000 subscribers. You deserve all of it for the hard work you put in. Thank you so much, William Pendragon. Hope your shift's going well. Be sure to work smarter, not harder, as always. But thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Glad to have you in the chat once again. Damn, man. Watch Whitley summon Loki or some shit in the finale. That'd be nuts if he just had the potential to do it. But, I mean, he would have to kill something. He would have to kill something like a Grimm of some sort in order to summon it himself. Like, right? It's kind of like necromancy almost. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Jacques Winter Willow. I can picture it happening. That's all I can say. Okay, so getting back into the actual forwarded discussion here. Yeah, again, it's kind of just reiterating the kind of rant or the ramble that I just went on. The cameras in the house reveal all, and she said she put a camera in every room of this house for their safety in case she ever, in case maybe she ever needed evidence, if in case things got that bad that she felt that she needed to leave. It's depressing, it's sad to see that like Jacques could you thought Jacques was bad already, but this he's literally in the furthest pit of hell at this point. Like he's just an awful person. And again, she's ultimately given up herself, but she hasn't given up on her kids. And at the very least, I love and appreciate the fact that she's happy that Weiss is left, and she doesn't want her to forget about her brother. And again, it goes back to the trauma thing, the fawn. Whitley is willing to act out in whatever way he sees fit for the sake of making sure that his father is happy. Because it's foolish not to do as father asks. And so his persona, his demeanor derives from his father, and it what's the word I'm looking for? It permeates to everyone else in his life. So he's going to be an asshole to everybody because it's basically being groomed by his father to be just like him, to lack emotions, to lack agency, to lack any type of individuality, any type of personality traits or goals or desires, emotion, like I said, any of that shit. That's another thing too. I don't think Jacques has control of, I don't know how much Jacques has control over Atlas security or Atlas tech. Like the cameras in this house, does Jacques know those cameras are there? I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me rephrase that. I meant to say Watts. Watts has control of technology and hacking and stuff like that. Granted, in Atlas, it's a little bit more limited, but I don't think he would even know or have control over these cameras if he doesn't even know that they're there. But the Whitley thing is big, dude. So the thumbnail on the bottom right is a video that I implore all of you, if you have not seen it. It's a video that Eruption Fang made 2 years ago during RWBY volume. Actually, I think it was 17. So it was after volume 4 that he made this video. So it was basically after Whitley's introduction. He made the video 2 years ago, basically bringing the theory to light of what if Whitley wasn't as shitty as people make him out to be. Because I'll be completely honest, majority of the fandom did not like Whitley. A lot of people are having a change of heart for Whitley because, it's clear now that the evidence shows that he's just as much of a victim as his sisters, as his mother, as the rest of the family. But Eruption Fang was 2 years ahead of the curve in presenting that theory. So really impressive by the fact that for as little as we had the character around, things like that, he was able to put that together. Yeah, I didn't have beef with Whitley. Here's my thing, and I'll admit this too. I watched this video when Eruption Fang made it, and it completely changed my perception of Whitley. I was very empathetic to the idea that Whitley could just as well be a victim as much as anybody else, because he's a kid, because he has no way out, because he's the youngest of the three, because while Winter got out as soon as possible and Weiss was almost kind of controlled until she left for Beacon and came back with a changed personality and perspective, Whitley has always only known Atlas. He's always only known the Schnee Manor. He's only known Jacques, you know? And that level of influence is what got to Whitley, but never made it to Winter or Weiss. And so, yeah, I definitely like lumped him in by association with Jacques, because it just felt natural to, you know? It's like, oh, we don't like Jacques, he's a scumbag. Well, I guess that means we don't like Whitley either, because he's just like his father. And I never really took into consideration Whitley as a character, or even that thought, until I watched Eruption Fang's video. So definitely lays out, like, again, like, the video's ahead of its time, because the video is just as relevant now as it was 2 years ago. Highly recommend any of you guys go and check it out. It's called Is Whitley a Victim? If you guys haven't seen it. But I thought it was really well done. And without a doubt, this is probably Eruption Fang's favorite episode of the volume, because it, you know, they're humanizing Whitley, which is nice. They're actually making him to be just as, you know, it's just a different form of manipulation. It's just a different form of victimization. You know, it on the surface, it looks like Whitley's fine and he's happy and he's content with the way that he is and the person that he is, but in reality, he's not. But yeah, I mean, Mama Schnee, mothers know best. You know, she even says, you know, don't forget your brother. And she verifies too. She was like, of course he wants nothing to do with you. You left him here alone with us. He feels like you abandoned him. Which, again, it's a little unfair to put all that pressure on Weiss, because realistically, Willow is the parent. And again, in another thing too, when it comes to the parenting and the parenthood of this show, a lot of the burden is carried on to the siblings, right? Raven leaving and Summer dying meant that Yang had to become the parent. You know, in this situation where Jacques is an asshole and a shitty dad, and Willow is given up as a parent herself, you know, Weiss is forced to pick up the slack of looking after and making sure her brother is okay when she's in the same boat, you know, or just as much in the same boat, you know. I guess Blake is an exception. Blake's the only one Blake herself has a very healthy family dynamic. It's just everything around that family dynamic affected her to where even having a loving mother, a loving father, a safe, warm, comforting home, you know what I mean? Like, everything in her life was pushed her away from that. You know, the White Fang, Adam, you know, discrimination, racism, hatred, you know, her being a faunus, self-hating herself because of that, and rather being ashamed of herself because of that. So, yeah, it's, yeah, I mean, Whitley is very much like what Jacques was trying to groom for Whitley. I'm sorry. I can easily see Whitley being the result of what Jacques was trying to do with Winter until she left for the military, and then Weiss until she left for Beacon. Whitley has nowhere to go. So, you know, mission accomplished for Jacques. So, very interesting concepts overall. Very happy with it. Here's another thing that I'm going to showcase, because it was hard to showcase it at any given point because there was so much discussions going on. But Aaron Wynn is the lead concept artist at Rooster Teeth, and if you look at the portrait of Nicholas Schnee in the dining area, she actually has her signature there, which is kind of cool because I'm pretty sure she made that poster art. I hope they showcase the full version of it after the episode comes out, because, like, a bunch of the people who work on the show, like Santa and I think his name's Nick, a bunch of people like on the RWBY have been releasing a lot of the assets for the volume. Oh, here's another thing too. I need to inform you guys on this. This is really this is genuinely important. So I'm gonna segue really quick so do you guys, okay, so first off, you guys remember the cake? You guys remember the conversation that started the peppermint debacle? The peppermint kerfuffle? The cake, figuring out what flavor it was? We found out what flavor the cake was today. Santa Freeman, compliments to Santa Freeman. She is a concept artist at Rooster Teeth, currently working on RWBY Volume 7, and she is to thank, or they are to thank, for this vital piece of information. So if you didn't know, going on Twitter here, cake to celebrate the occasion. So this is the cake that they had. This is the cake that they had here. Really delicious looking. Winter, you definitely need to have this cake modeled if you have a birthday or whatever, and take a picture of it IRL. But if you scroll down a bit, so first off, Winter, shout out. Someone here asks, what flavor is it? Chocolate and vanilla. The green parts are colored green, but yes, vanilla. So, thank God that ice cream was not mint flavored like a lot of people thought it was. Thank goodness gracious. Yeah, but the damage has already been done. I've already been canceled in 2019. Yeah. Where were you weeks ago, Santa? Where were you when I needed you most? That chapter's weeks old. I've been canceled already. Why no mint? Oh, I'm not going down this road again. I don't know if you're setting me up for that, but it would have tasted better if it was mint. I'll let you have your opinions. Thank God opinions can't be right or wrong. Am I right? Anyways, okay, so getting back to the discussion. Okay, so again, Erin Wynn, shout out to her. I hope they release the concept of Nicholas Schnee because he's a badass. He looks super dope. He looks super awesome. Little kind of credit there to Erin Wynn on the RWBY. And then again, you can see her signature for the Jacques Schnee poster. You can see this one a little better than previous volumes, I think. It's a close-up, but Erin Wynn's signature is also on that one as well. So, shout out again to Erin Wynn, lead concept artist over at Rooster Teeth for RWBY. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, I think this is a perfect segue because Dorsai also mentioned it. We're going to check out the polls. So we're going to check out the poll for last week's debacle, if you will. So last week we did a poll. It was the 4th round poll of the pointless opinionated topics, or the opinionated, opinionated pointless topics. It was between pancakes versus waffles, and the people have spoken. So, going over to Twitter again, we have at least the Twitter results. Round 4 of the opinionated pointless polls begins. Which do you prefer, pancakes or waffles? We got 56 point. This was really, I think this is the closest poll that we've had. 56.2% pancakes, 43.8% waffles, with 3,075 overall votes. Winter wanted crepes, so some people were undecided. Some people had better opinions for themselves. You know what's really funny? I had waffles for breakfast yesterday. Crispy, delicious waffles. Now here's the thing. I don't think I could choose between these two. I think it's so close because it really depends on what you're in the mood for, right? Those waffles I had yesterday, they were Eggo waffles, like basic as fuck. Eggo waffles in the toaster. They came out so crispy, so good. Here's the thing. If you want fluffiness, if you want like soft, delicate, fluffy warm, you go pancakes. If you want, it's very, it's basically texture based. If you want crunchy, crisp, golden brown, you go waffles. I don't know anyone who's ever had, I mean, I don't know what are Belgian waffles soft? But yeah, like, it's all about texture. And I can easily say that I flip-flop between, nope. No pun intended, but I definitely flip-flop when it comes to pancakes and waffles. It's really for what I'm up. It's really based on what I'm up for. But anyways, that was the poll for the young Twitter, and on YouTube, it's an even bigger turnout. 12,000 votes. 63% pancakes, 37% waffles. So, yeah. Pancakes definitely win. A lot of Nora fans, I assume. Not a lot of Jean fans. Jean likes waffles. If anyone remembers Volume 2 in his sleep, he's like muttering. He's like, waffles. So, Jean's definitely a waffle guy. Just saying. Just saying. They should, Rooster, you know what Rooster should make? They should make those like waffle makers in the shape of Pumpkin Pete's face because of Jean. Like, that would be awesome. I mean, I'm joking. I don't think anyone will actually buy that, and plus it'd probably be like an arm and a leg in the RT store. But anyways, yeah, I just thought that'd be interesting. But yeah, again, Weiss, who are you? Weiss is so best girl, man. I can't, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, I give so much credit to Weiss for the fact that she's asking questions, right? She's the one questioning, why would my father make this announcement the day before the election? You know, how would someone have access to that security network? Huh, the heating grid run in partnership with the Schnee Dust Company. I wonder what's going on. And, she figured out the answers. So, again, shout out to that. But more importantly, because my boy Ross is here, and I can't do my boy Ross dirty, let's follow up with the second meme, probably the final meme of the episode, of course. Who are you? I am the knight. I am Jacques Schnee. It's Wattsman. Yeah, we got the good old Batman reference, looking over the city of Gotham. Good old Wattsman. You know what would have been great if you went the extra mile? Again, I'm not taking credit away from you, Ross. This is a pretty dank meme. If you had changed the bat symbol to the Watts symbol, like the W, I don't know how that would have required like a bit of editing for sure. But I think that's what would have nailed it. Like, that's what would have been like, that would have taken it from like a B tier to like an A tier. But shout out nonetheless. Like, we get the reference. It's Gotham, it's Batman, it's Watts overlooking the city. Oh shit, you're right. Hey, it's never too late, dude. It's never too late. But yeah, again, shout out to Ross in the chat, everybody. The Ross boss, bringing them, making sure his memes aren't dreams. Don't let your memes be dreams, guys. Let's see. All right. But yeah, so we got Watts, best villain, dude. I don't care, dude. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Best villain. Calculated. Like, he doesn't give a fuck, dude. Like, bro, you just, like, helped slaughter tons of people, like, the other day, and now you're just like, time for winter, bitches. Oh, boy. Yeah, so we got the heating grid is going down. So I wonder if that means Watts is affiliated with the heating grid, like, company that's in partnership with the Schnee Dust Company. Either that or he just hacked their network. Either or. And if you guys remember what Weiss says in chapter 3, RWBY, she's like, it's freezing out here. Without a projected aura, without heating or a projected aura, the cold of Solitas can kill you in a matter of hours. So little Timmy over here is going to have a very harsh winter, a very cold Christmas this year for little Timmy. Also, that's the little kid that was the line leader in chapter 5. So yeah. Those 2 little kids that were hiding out in the alleyway whose moms got killed by Tyrion, they're going to freeze to death for sure. Everyone's freezing to death. Yeah, that's the line. That's the kid that was the line leader. Hey, his mom's alive. Oh, thank God. Thirsty mom number whatever. She's alive. Because he was like, Mom, it's snowing. Okay, so his thirsty mom, his mom is alive. Not his thirsty mom's alive. Okay, we got it. Mantle's gonna freeze over. God, dude. They're like taking this to like the next, like you're literally gonna kill an entire city of people. That's like fucking crazy, dude. That's fucking, like, I mean, it's like the fall of Beacon was pretty bad too, right? Like, people definitely got maimed and slaughtered and killed and went missing and got eaten. But this is like like, look at these people, so oblivious. They're just like stuff. And that's the reason why it's been raining cats and dogs here since we've gotten here, right? Remember chapter 2? What was it, chapter 2? Yeah, chapter 2. You saw like the heavy rainfall, like Watts with his with his umbrella the entire time, and now he's just like, I won't be needing this now because all the heating. And then in some of the episodes, you saw like the people huddled around the heating. So they set up they foreshadowed that really well. In the 3rd chapter, mentioning the projected aura, mentioned the heating grid, like mentioned the heating, and then they mentioned the heating grid in partnership with the Schnee Dust Company, and then you see the people huddling around like the heating grid for like warmth during like you know in Mantle, and now it's like, hey, remember, like we gave you a bunch of that foreshadowing because this shit's coming in handy now. That was really well done. That was really well done setup for this, because it's not like it's out of left field. It's like, well, what the, like what? It's like they've definitely sprinkled this the entire time. Winter's definitely coming. More like winter's already here, like both figuratively and literally, both in real life in my chat and in the show. Oh boy, these people are gonna freeze to death, guys. Yeah, the volume's really well written, like tightly written for sure. No chapter until next week, though. So we're going to have to hold off until then. But Weiss now knows who it is. They just need to put 2 and 2 together. If I'll be pissed if Ironwood doesn't know who that is, because it's like, dude, this man's like a member of Mantle, Atlas. He's an Atlesian scientist. He worked alongside Pietro. Pietro will be able to pick him out. We'll be able to figure him out, right? And also, like, the picture that Pietro had, I don't think they saw Watts because his thumb was over Watts' face, and then when he put the picture back on his desk, it showed Watts in the picture. So I don't think RWBY or Weiss necessarily saw that. And even if he did, it's an old photo. But like, she has it now. She has a video evidence of Watts and Jacques having a conversation. His name was dropped in that moment, and she just has to bring that back to Team RWBY and Ironwood and Jacques and pray to fucking God Tyrion doesn't break through this party and start killing people as a distraction. Yeah, I'm really satisfied with what they left us with, honestly. Like, looking back on this chapter, initially watching it, I was like, it doesn't seem like they left us off with something major, like on the edge of my seat waiting for the next chapter during the break. But at the same time, whatever chapter they're left off with isn't taken into consideration. It just so happens that if this is the chapter that's left off, it's the chapter that's left off. They don't find out until like probably before the episode, like once they're actually crunching the numbers on where the volume's going to start and end. So yeah, I think that this was a great point to leave off on, because now it's like things are still happening. Like the setting still seems to be in the setting still seems to be in at the Schnee Manor, immediately after things are happening. I don't know if Winter is going to kind of apply herself and go back into that situation. I don't know if Weiss is going to talk to Whitley. I don't know what everyone's reaction is going to be to Watts, because even if they identify Watts, they don't have a motive right now until they can pinpoint or put together who knows him, right? Pietro will know him. I expect Ironwood to know him. And yeah, and then at that point, they have hard evidence that Jacques is doing something shady. 5 chapters left, guys. 5 chapters left. 5 chapters left. We're going to come back to chapter 9 on January 4th. And then the volume will conclude for first members on February 1st, 2020, which is also the 5-year anniversary of the RWBY creator Monty Ohm's passing. It'll be the 5 years since then. So I feel like it's going to be, I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know what that day is going to be like for the chapter, for what they leave us off with, for what happens in it, and also just the community that day as well. It's just a lot that I just feel like there's going to be a lot of emotions going on. Unforeseen emotions as well, because we don't know how the chapter is going to leave off. For all we know, it's going to be a volume, the fall of Mantle proper. You know, who knows? But yeah. And but yeah, that's the discussion. Wrapping up as a whole, we have the concept art as always, Willow Schnee, the dining area, which the dining area, like if you look at the top corner, they use the family portrait instead of Nicholas Schnee's portrait. Maybe it's because when they were doing the concept, they just needed something to go there, and maybe they didn't have, you know, because they had to also make that portrait of Nicholas Schnee. So that could be a placeholder. Watts overlooking the city of Mantle with the billboard in the background, and then a snowy mantle. A snowy mantle for sure. Yo, what up, Muffin Man? Can't stay long because I didn't see the episode yet, but just wanted to say sup. You joined at the perfect time. The discussion has wrapped up. We are done with the discussion. Yeah, 3 hours and 30 minutes. I think this is the shortest live stream discussion we've done for the volume so far. Most of my discussions have gone 4 hours or more, I think, actually. Ugh. Oh, boy. So that was a conversation. That was a discussion. Hold on. Before I forget, slow chat. I got to take that off. All right. So I need y'all's help. What poll are we doing this week? I have not figured out one. Some people recommended pie versus cake. Others recommended. Oh wait, did I miss a donation? Look at the folder Watts clicked on. It has the Schnee logo. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me go back to that real quick. Do I have that showcased? Do I show him? I don't think I show him looking at... Yeah, I don't show him looking at his... It's not in the shot here, but I do know what you're talking about. So he must have got... So yeah, he must have gotten an updated Atlas file now, like the Atlas network at this point. Yeah, I didn't have him looking at his scroll in this clip. My bad. But yeah, again, Nimble Fox, thank you so much for the donations, for the support, for tuning in. I love Watts as a villain, but personally, I want him to experience a horrible, painful death 1,000 times worse than anyone who's ever died ever. Okay, that's a little extra. If anything, Watts being arrested I'd be fine with that. I don't need him to be like mangled and murdered to feel satisfied with it. Granted, he is killing a lot of people. I expect Tyrion to go out like that. You know what I mean? Like he kills like mercilessly, and just like a savage about it. And I don't know. Always a blast for your discussions. Miguel Lugo, thank you so much for the super chat. and for the earlier one as well. I appreciate coffee versus tea. Okay, that's what we're gonna do this week. Soup versus salad. How is that a comparison? Soup versus salad? It's like, I guess they're two sides. I gotcha. I think I'm gonna do. Okay, so we have cake versus pie. We have coffee versus tea. I don't know if I want to do maybe a RWBY. What? Well, how about a RWBY related poll? I mean, coffee versus tea is kind of like technically RWBY related, right? Weiss prefers coffee. Blake prefers tea. RWBY prefers tea. I mean, RWBY prefers coffee. Oh, milk before cereal? Get out of here. Like, literally leave my chat. No, I'm just kidding. Coffee is superior? I mean... yeah, I'll do coffee versus tea then. I don't really think coffee versus tea is the most, like, debated thing in the history of mankind, but round 5 of the opinionated, pointless. Hold on, I'm actually going to be a little bit more. Welcome to round 5 of the opinionated, pointless polls. In this corner, weighing in at cream and 5 sugars is coffee. And in the other, with a tea bag, is tea. All right. I made it out to be like a grudge match, like a wrestling match. Okay. Poll. Coffee. I wish there was a team tea, because then I'd do CFVY for team coffee. I don't want to put team coffee like RWBY team coffee, because then I feel like, oh no, hot chocolate, fuck! Oh no, wait. Should I make this a 3-way poll? I feel like hot chocolate will literally like blow them both out of the water, though. I feel like that's unfair to put hot chocolate. Damn it! Why did you have to say that? Okay, I'll do it. All right. God damn it. I gotta change up the... Okay. All right. Just saying it right now. Hot chocolate's gonna win. Like, I don't even need to do this poll. Like, why am I doing this poll? Hot chocolate's gonna win. Let's see. All right, I'll do this. 6 days, 18, 90, 20, 10, 4, 6, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yeah, so I'll do that. It's okay, though. It's okay. All right. In this one, weighing in at... All right, here we go. coffee, tea, hot chocolate. Have fun, guys. With all that said, I appreciate y'all tuning in to the Volume 7, Chapter 8 live stream discussion. I hope it was fun, enjoyable. Probably one of, if not the shortest live stream discussion we've done. I definitely appreciate you guys. Oh, the meme is done? Is it? God damn it. Anyways. I fell for that one. Thank you guys seriously for tuning in. I didn't expect this big of a turnout, especially the week of Christmas and the holidays and the week between the break and the week between Christmas and New Year's. And I know a bunch of other people are doing their own thing and whatnot, but no, I definitely appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was fun, exciting, informative. As always, thank you guys for the support. Joe Fu, I will respond to you in Discord in a few minutes. Just give me a second. Once the stream's ended, I'll try to see if we can fix things on your end there to make sure that you can get access properly. But yeah, the discussion was fun. Like I said, there will not be a new chapter tomorrow. We are on the holiday break. My reaction will be posted tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard on YouTube. So my reaction to Chapter 8 will be posted there for those of you who are looking forward to it. Yeah, Chapter 8 will also be going up for non-first members tomorrow morning, an hour before as usual. But we will be reconvening in the new year for 2020. So this is the last live stream discussion until then. So I hope you guys have a very fun, safe, happy holidays, a very ambitious, eager, and positive start to the new year going into 2020. As always, you know what I mean? Like, more than anything, thank you guys for the support. We managed to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the decade, which is great. And I have a lot of things in store after RWBY 7 ends, and just in general for 2020. So I appreciate you guys for that as well. But with all that said, enjoy the rest of the evening. I hope you guys enjoy. My reaction will be posted tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy that. And with all that said, I will see you guys for the continuation of RWBY next year in 2020. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a good day. Take care.